Good afternoon, everybody. It is Steve Lookner with Agenda Free TV, coming to give you some updates on a bunch of different stories. We're going to have updates on Minneapolis and Fulton County FBI raid. Maybe we'll talk about Iran some and a bunch of other stuff. You know, President Trump is doing a cabinet meeting right now. So I was kind of going to wait until maybe he answered questions, although maybe he's already answering questions. He might have already started. Let me just keep an eye on that and see. Let's take a second and see where that's at. Sometimes these cabinet meetings can be pretty long, but usually he'll answer questions at some point. Let me just check in on that real quick, and if we miss some questions, we can go back. But give me 1 second here. All right, this is Trump right now. Do we hear anything? Let's see.
You would never, but Scott thought it was a horrible thing. So there's going to be no financing for low-income housing. Let the people build their houses, and as fast as you can, help them, help the mayor and help the governor get their permitting done. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Kelly, I think you were just alluded to. You help some of the
so
people
I'm not
out there
going
with
to.
loans?
What I'm going to do
Yes,
is,
Mr. President, thanks to your leadership, you also helped put the fires out.
All
Your
right.
executive order got water to the scene in your earliest days of your
what I'm going to do
presidency.
is I'm not going to
We've
play
been
the
there
whole
from day
thing.
one. We've been out there
because-
twice now. There had been no changes until your executive order this week.
Give me
that is
one sec. Let me
allowing
just
that
fix the
permitting
audio
to
and
happen
video
quickly.
first.
We have 16,000 structures burned. We have put loans out on 12,000 of them for $3.2 billion. More than half of all the disaster money delivered in America.
I gotta fix
went
I gotta
to that
fix the
area.
video for a
Now,
second.
because of the abject leadership, the failures of Gavin Newsom, they have not been able to rebuild. Because of your leadership, they're going to be able to rebuild. But that's not all you've
And
done.
they'll take the credit for it. Watch, it'll start, and they'll take the credit. Look at the great job we did. They would never. It wouldn't get built in 20 years, and it will be destroyed by building low-income housing next to luxury housing. History says that doesn't work too well. Go ahead.
We're going to make sure that doesn't happen, Mr. President.
Please.
But under your leadership, you've ended at least 8 wars, okay? But probably the most important and underreported war that this president ended was Joe Biden and the Democrats' war on Main Street and hardworking families. We've seen it as I've gone across the country this month,
Okay.
10 different states, and we saw it when we were
Here
together
is
in
my
Iowa.
plan. Here's my plan for this. This was my plan for this. So you know, sometimes these things go on for several hours, the cabinet meetings. So I definitely would like to see, usually at the end, President Trump will start taking questions from the press. And I definitely would like to see that. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. And because we have some other things I want to talk about. Actually, the mayor of Minneapolis is supposed to speak shortly at a conference. I want to talk about what Tom Homan said today. He did an early morning press conference. We should talk about that. I want to talk about the Fulton County FBI raid, right, of the main elections office there. A short while ago, Fulton County officials made an appearance, so I want to show you that. So I think the best choice for now is to maybe keep an eye on this, but I don't want to show. You know, again, it could take hours. So let me keep an eye on it. We can always go back and watch it, but I definitely want to see when Trump starts taking questions. I just don't know when that's going to be. Okay, so let me mention a couple things. First of all, I want to mention thank you for being here. Second of all, I want to thank our moderators. We have Janet B. and Ruth and Roberts Mayqueen, and they're all moderating on YouTube. We have also our Twitch moderators, I want to mention. DeBears, I Got That Fire, Matthew Kohai 3, Sarah and Surly Dev, thank you. And we have our Facebook mods as well. Did I mention Linda Belk, Larry, and Misha on X? I might have already said it. I can't remember what I said. And thanks to are Facebook moderators too. There's also this interesting story today. The Financial Times is reporting that Trump officials talked to some separatist group in Canada. That's a whole story. I'd like to mention that. Hey, Kay Lowry Body is modding. And over there, Margaret Riley, big thanks. All right. So there's a bunch we got to talk about. And all of our other Facebook mods. So, yeah, one of our viewers, Michael, said yes, here in Alberta. So I'm keeping an eye on, again, I'm keeping an eye on this, but I'm not going to play the whole cabinet meeting because it could go on for hours. So I'm just trying to figure out kind of how to structure everything and what we should talk about first. Maybe we'll talk about Minneapolis first, although I want to show the...
Alabama, Missouri, those unbelievable scenes that you see, Victory at Sea, you'd see these incredible ships, and I thought they were powerful, but the battleships that we're building are going to be 100 times more powerful than those beautiful works of art. I mean, they were magnificent, all steel. We have the steel now, and we're going to be doing that as an enhancement, but we, our military...
Again, I'm going to go back when he takes questions. I will go back there when he takes questions. Okay, and again, oh, hold on. Pete Hegseth is speaking. Is he talking about battleships? Let's see.
Perception of America, and at the Department of War, that meant reestablishing deterrence. What happened in Afghanistan, what happened in Ukraine, a war that never would have occurred, what happened on October 7th in Israel, never would have happened under President Trump. So as a result, we're having to rebuild how our enemies perceive us. And when President Trump said, we're not getting a nuclear, Iran, you won't have a nuclear bomb, he meant it. And we sent those B-2s halfway around the world, and they never noticed. When he said, we're not going to tolerate trafficking drugs anymore in our hemisphere, we treat them like the Al-Qaeda of the Western Hemisphere, he meant it, and we're executing that. When you said, Mr. President, we're securing the border, the military was proud to do their part alongside Homeland Security to do that. Same thing with Iran right now, ensuring that they have all the options to make a deal. They should not pursue nuclear capabilities. So we will be prepared to deliver whatever this president expects of the War Department, just like we did this month. No other military in the world could have executed the most sophisticated, powerful raid, not just in American history, I would say in world history. What those men did going downtown, another country, the most secure place in the most secure base in the middle of the night without anybody knowing until those simultaneous bombs dropped 3 minutes before the helicopters dropped. No other country could coordinate that. No other president would have been willing to empower those warriors that way to be that effective. And that sends a message to every capital around the world that when President Trump speaks, he means business, and we are reestablishing deterrence at the War Department, Mr. President.
Thank you. Great job you're doing. Just to finish up on that, the Somalian pirates over the years have pirated, stolen many ships. They would get large amounts of money for the ship. You know, you have $1 billion ship, and the insurance companies didn't want to fight because, you know, some of those ships are very flammable. They're carrying millions of barrels of oil. Very flammable, very dangerous situation if they're shot at. So they wouldn't fight. We notified them a number of months ago. Anybody that does that gets the same treatment as a drug dealer sending their drugs in from Venezuela or anybody else. As you know, it's 97% down by water. So the drugs coming in by sea or by water is down 97%. Now we're also starting, that was the more difficult route. Now we're starting to do that by land also. It will be, you'll see that happen as they come in and kill our people with drugs. I think the real number is 300,000 people a year, not 100, but whatever it is, it's a lot of people, hundreds of thousands of people. They're going to get hit. But also we added to the list the Somalian pirates that go out on a boat, similar type boat, actually not quite as fast, not quite as nice as you can imagine, but they get the same missile that we give to the people that are bringing drugs. And so far we haven't seen anybody going out. So the traffic is not being interfered with by people pirating our ships. Not our ships, ships all over the world. I said, make it for any country. We're doing the rest of the world a favor. It's a very effective favor, but we see very little pirating nowadays. You used to have ships being taken every single, like 2 or 3 a week, these massive ships that be brought in to some place in Somalia, which I don't even know is it a country. We have Ilhan Omar left, and then she gives us lectures on the Constitution of the United States. These people are, what they've done to rip off our country is terrible, but the pirating has essentially stopped. They know that if anybody even makes a move toward a ship, they get the ultimate treatment. They will go to wherever they want to go, but it's probably not going to be to heaven. I can't imagine, but they get hit very hard, just like a drug dealer, just like the boats, the ships that are coming in. Every boat that comes in with drugs on it that we take out, we just save 25,000 American lives. Each boat is the equivalent of saving 25,000 American, mostly American, but American lives. So I just wanted to let you know that, and Pete's been totally authorized to do that. And they know it's going to happen, and it seems that all of that brisk business that they had has been stopped in its right in its foot. So I just want to thank everybody for being here. My cabinet has been amazing.
Well, maybe he'll take
I like
questions
this much
now.
better than
He
going
might take
around for
questions
3
right
hours.
now.
We'll pick on other ones. Pam, you're doing great. We're all doing great. JD,
Hold
if
on.
you'd like to say something, you can. Would you like to really quickly? He is, after all, the Vice President of the United States.
It's okay, sir. I'm here for the free coffee. I just say it's an honor to serve with this group, and we're doing a lot of good for the American people. We're very proud of it.
Yeah, we're very proud of the country. We're very proud of you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
No questions? Okay, so I don't know if he took questions before. That's interesting. You heard a lot of people say questions. So I wasn't watching the first part of that, but normally the way it's been is they'll do the cabinet meeting, and then he'll do like 45 minutes of questions at the end. Now, I'm not aware that happened. I could go back to the beginning and just quickly see. I don't think he took 45 minutes of questions at the beginning. That's interesting. So no questions. Oh, I was kind of hoping he would take questions so I could show it to you guys. Let me just, where is this here? That's interesting. I don't know that I've seen one of those where he didn't take questions. I'm peeking at it. I'm peeking at before. I'm looking at.
Already high numbers, record setting.
I don't know that he did.
Republican version of the New Deal right behind you.
I don't believe. I mean, it was an hour and a half meeting. Anyways, so I'd have to go through it, but I was just looking at the start of it, and I didn't see him taking questions. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but again, normally he would do it at the end. Normally he would do it at the end. I'm pretty, and I was, my plan was to kind of was to show that to you. So, anyways, okay. So here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna fix. Okay, so. We have a bunch of stuff to talk about. By the way, also crypto is way down today. Moments ago, Bitcoin dropped down below $84,000. It's around $84,200 right now. So crypto's down over 5% in the last 24 hours. Gold went down a bit, although I'm looking at a chart that said it had gone down below 5,200, and now it's around 5,300. And the stock market today, just looking at that, is NASDAQ down about 1.5%, Dow Jones down about 0.5%, S&P 500 down about 1%. So anyways, keeping an eye on that too. All right, so we have a bunch of stuff to talk about. And also the mayor of Minneapolis is supposed to speak shortly, so we can talk about that. I appreciate you guys being with us. Okay, so first, maybe here's what we'll do first. Here's what we'll do first. Before we get into anything, we're going to talk about Minneapolis, Tom Homan, what Tom Homan said today, and developments there. The mayor's supposed to speak soon. We're going to talk about the FBI raid on the Fulton County Elections Office yesterday. And there was the Fulton County officials gave an update a short while ago I want to show you. And maybe talk about some Iran stuff. Before we get into anything, though, have something a new thing for you. Hold on a second here. A new thing I want to mention, if I can get it on the screen. If I can get everything ready on the screen here, we can do it. I also want to talk a bit about this story that these reports that that Trump administration officials have spoken with separatists in Canada. That's an interesting story. Okay, so let me just get everything on the screen here. Let me just get everything ready. Okay, so before we get into anything today, real quick, I just want to mention that we do have a new sponsor that we're going to talk about today real quick. And our new sponsor is Venice AI. And so a quick word about Venice AI from me. So, and by the way, this is a sponsor. You could try it for free. You can go and try it for free right now. Venice AI, it is, they like to call it private, unbiased, uncensored AI. And you can go to venice.ai/agenda free. You can try it for free. If you want, code agenda free for 20% off a pro plan. But let me talk about it for a second. Okay, so a lot of us use AI. I use AI a lot, and I know you're familiar. You know, there's like Gemini, and there's Grok, and there's ChatGPT. So a lot of you are familiar with AI. Venice emphasizes privacy, being unbiased and uncensored. Okay, and let me and I'll show you what it looks like. Here's what it looks like. You can go there now. Again, Venice. That's not what it looks like. That's YouTube. Right there. Right there. Right there. There it is. Venice. Venice.ai/agenda free. So I know, one thing is a lot of people, you might say private AI. Why private AI? Well, a lot of people talk about personal stuff with their AI, talk about financial matters, health stuff, business stuff, personal stuff. And, some people are concerned what happens to all this stuff that I put into my AI, all that data. A lot of it's personal. So, Venice AI is, they are private. They keep your Venice AI, it keeps your conversations completely private on your device. Nothing is stored, nothing is stored, monitored, or collected. Private AI. Also, some AI chatbots, you ask it things, it might be a sensitive topic or politically correct, and it won't talk about it with you, or it might encourage you to not talk about it. Venice AI is not like that. You can ask Venice AI anything you want without content restrictions or censorship. And Venice AI does not censor or filter the AI's responses. The platform remains neutral and unbiased. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Private, unbiased, uncensored AI. You can try it for free. I know you guys like a lot of unbiased stuff if you're watching this channel. So what I will mention one more time is I really appreciate them sponsoring the channel. If you want to try it, you can try it for free. Venice.ai/agenda free TV. And if you use code AgendaFree, if you want, you can get 20% off a pro plan. Reuters says, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard visited the site of the search on Wednesday, Reuters witness, giving her a highly unusual presence in domestic law enforcement that one former official called unprecedented. Reuters reported that Gabbard last year formed a group of dozens of officials from across the federal government, including the Justice Department, that was helping to steer Trump's drive for retribution against his perceived enemies. A Democratic Senator, Mark Warner, posted about Tulsi Gabbard being there. Let me show you what he said. I want to take some of your comments on this too. So Senator Warner posted a picture of Tulsi Gabbard at the raid site. And he said, why is Tulsi Gabbard at an FBI raid on an election office in Fulton County? Here's what else he said. I'm going to put it on the screen right now. This is what Senator Mark Warner said. He said he's a Democrat. He said there are only two explanations why the Director of National Intelligence would show up at a federal raid tied to Donald Trump's obsession with losing the 2020 election. Either Director Gabbard believes there was a legitimate foreign intelligence nexus, in which case she is in clear violation of her obligation under the law to keep the intelligence committees in Congress fully currently informed of relevant national security concerns, or, says Democratic Senator Mark Warner, she is once again demonstrating her utter lack of fitness for the office that she holds by injecting the nonpartisan intelligence community she is supposed to be leading into a domestic political stunt designed to legitimize conspiracy theories that undermine our democracy. Either is a serious breach of trust that further underscores, Mark Warner says, why she is totally unqualified to hold a position that demands sound judgment, apolitical independence, and a singular focus on keeping Americans safe. That's Democratic Senator Mark Warner. All right, I want to take your comments on this. I'm going to show you what Fulton County officials, they did an appearance on this today. Oh, there's a video on it too. Hold on, I want to show you the video too. Let me show you the video, and then I'll take some comments from you guys. Many of you know President Trump still frequently insists that he won the 2020 election. Now, hang on a moment here. Wrong video. We need to get the right video up. Wrong one. We need the right one up. That's wrong too. Here is the correct video about the raid yesterday. Then we will take questions and comments from you. Here is the Reuters video on the raid, about the FBI raid of Fulton County, Georgia's main election hub.
The FBI searched an election office in Georgia's Fulton County outside Atlanta on Wednesday, pursuing U.S. President Donald Trump's false claims that his 2020 election defeat was because of widespread voting fraud. An FBI statement said its agents executed a warrant at the Fulton County Election Hub and Operations Center. A law enforcement official who spoke to Reuters said the agents were looking to seize computers and ballots they believed were held at the facility as part of an investigation into possible election interference. Trump unsuccessfully sought to overturn the 2020 election result in Georgia, pressuring the state's top election official to, quote, find votes that would allow him to claim victory. Several reviews and a hand audit of ballots confirmed that Democrat Joe Biden narrowly won the state. Wednesday's search came a week after Trump again made his debunked claim that voting in 2020 was a rigged election, and that, quote, people will soon be prosecuted for what they did. The director of the FBI, Kash Patel, was appointed to his post by Trump last year.
Could there be
FBI searched an election office in
Could there
Georgia's
be
Fulton
charges
County.
from this? Could we see criminal charges of some sort? Hang on a moment. I want to try to find one other thing before I take comments here. One other video. There's another video I got to show you. Did she post it on Instagram? Is that where she posted her video? Let's see. Trying to find the video she posted yesterday. Oh, I found it. Hold on. I'm going to show you her post. One moment so I could get it on the screen for you. This is what I was looking for. Mo Ivory, Fulton County Commissioner, posted a video yesterday, I believe from the raid. So I want to just show you that. Hang on, where is my pain in the butt? Hang on a moment here. I need to pull it up on the screen. I need to pull it up on the screen for myself. Here it is. All right, hold on one moment. You know, you do it, and then you sign in. And then you have to find the page again. It's unbelievable. Here it is. Okay, this is Mo Ivory. She is Fulton County Commissioner. And then here is the video she posted yesterday. I'm going to put it on the screen. Hold on. I'm going to get this video on the screen for you right now. I have to get it so you can see the whole video. This is from Mo Ivory, who is the Fulton County Commissioner. Let's watch what she had to say yesterday. It says, I'm here on the inside of the FBI raid at Fulton elections. Oop, I'm going to have to refresh it because I didn't have the volume on. Let's try this one more time. Now it's shrunk. Why is it shrunk? Let's try this one more time.
In the news, you're seeing a lot of stuff about this FBI raid at the Fulton County elections and registrations. I'm on the inside right now. So I just want you to be like real discerning about all that you're hearing from people who are on the outside of what's going on. I'm going to give you the truth about what's happening. So they served a warrant, the FBI, this is Trump, serving a warrant to go pick up the 2020 ballots, which are in a secure location inside of here, 700 boxes. The first warrant that they gave was incorrect legally, like they didn't follow the right procedure. They went back and they fixed it, and they came back and now they are actually collecting the boxes. They are in the chain of command in Fulton County is that once they are archived, they become the possession of the clerk of Superior Court, which is Shay Alexander. She is here and she is with them inventorying everything that they're taking. We, the commissioners, the chairman, the county attorney, are trying to figure out a legal plan as to maybe an injunction, a motion to quash. We don't know yet. We're trying to figure it out. We're getting all kinds of legal advice to stop this, because once they have the ballots, how do we then turn around and do something different when they've already got their hands on it? So this is an attempt to take your vote away. This is all about November 2026, about the primary on May 19th and then the November election. He does not want the midterm elections to take away his power. So he's trying to create chaos. So this is what he does. Chaos in Minnesota, chaos in Fulton County. We are a target. Protect your vote at all costs. I'm telling you, everybody always says your life depends on it. Oh, your life does depend on it this time.
All right, let me just play the start
Hi,
of it
everybody.
again.
Listen, I know you're watching the news. You're seeing a lot of stuff about this FBI raid at the Fulton County elections and
So
registrations.
that again was Mo Ivory, Fulton County Commissioner. That was yesterday. All right, I want to read I want to take some comments from you guys about this, and then we're going to listen to what Fulton County officials had to say today about this. But what are your thoughts on it seems like a pretty big story. I don't know I feel like maybe this story is going under the radar a little bit, although maybe it got covered more than I thought it did. But, I mean, hundreds of boxes reportedly taken? Oops, hold on. I have to get... Okay, we're good. Let's see. Grad thinks she is deluded. Shickles Chick says she's stop trying to fearmonger me into believing I lose my future vote from an investigation. Gucci Salad says so dramatic. Ben in Kentucky says it was 6 years ago. Just move on. Mushushu says the votes are old, so why care unless ... Let's see here. Sit Heel says, how are they taking votes away if the voting ballots being taken are 5 years old? I think the worry she was expressing is about future elections. Mason D thinks indictments are coming. Our viewer Pam BK says, no surprise, Trump is obsessed with losing, overreach with zero oversight. Julie Shields says, we are getting whiplash from all of the Epstein distractions. Sush E. Mood says they already investigated and found nothing last time. Heathcliff says she sounds like she is panicking. You've got a friend in me says if they have nothing to hide, then what's the problem, right? Billy Joe says wasting taxpayer dollars investigating something that they already lost in court. Let me just really quickly check a couple things on this. One moment. Then I'm going to show you what the Fulton County officials had to say about this today. Which one is this? Oh, there's an updated article. Let me just see if there's any updated details here. The Washington Post has an updated article about it. FBI executes search warrant seeking ballots from Fulton County's 2020 election. The FBI executed a search warrant yesterday at the elections warehouse of a Georgia county, Fulton County, where most of Atlanta is, at the heart of, the Washington Post calls it, right-wing conspiracy theories about the 2020 election. A significant escalation of the Trump administration's efforts to challenge the narrative of his loss that year. An FBI spokesperson confirmed agents were conducting court-authorized law enforcement action at the warehouse in Fulton County, home to most of Atlanta and more than 1 million residents. A copy of the warrant obtained by the Washington Post said the search was part of a criminal investigation into possible violations of 2 federal laws. One law regarding the retention and preservation of election records by officials, and the other criminalizing efforts to defraud voters from an impartially conducted election. The warrant authorized federal agents to seize all physical ballots from the 2020 election, voting machine tabulator tapes, images produced during the ballot count, and voter rolls from that year. It was the warrant was signed by a U.S. magistrate judge in Atlanta on Wednesday afternoon, less than a week after President Trump complained again in a public speech that the 2020 election was rigged and vowed consequences would soon be coming for those who were involved with it. President Trump at Davos World Economic Forum said, "People will soon be prosecuted for what they did. That's probably breaking news." It is unclear whether President Trump's remarks at Davos were related to the search warrant. And again, as agents conducted their search, news photographs showed Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence, and the FBI Deputy Director, Andrew Bailey, at the scene. I showed you this photo from Reuters before, from a Reuters article we were reading. There is Tulsi Gabbard right there at the scene of the raid. And hang on a moment here. Oh, let me show you something else. The Washington Post says the presence of Gabbard, a senior U.S. intelligence official, at the site is unusual. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence, which she leads, has no law enforcement powers and was created to focus on foreign threats, not domestic matters. I don't think she posted about that. Let me see. I'm looking at her DNI Tulsi Gabbard account. I don't see a poster there about it. Let me show you something else. A state senator from Georgia was there and posted about it. Here it is. Here is a post from State Senator in Fulton County, State Senator Josh McLaurin. I'm going to show you the video he posted yesterday from the scene. He is a member of the Georgia State Senate, and he represents the 14th district, which is a Fulton County district. So this is Fulton County State Senator Josh McLaurin. Let me show you what Josh posted yesterday from the raid. Hang on, I'm putting it up on the screen for you right now. FBI is loading 700 boxes, he says, of Fulton ballots from 2020 onto trucks. This is a dangerous day for democracy. Let's hear what he had to say. We'll hear it better when I turn the volume on. Let's turn the volume on and hear what he had to say.
Hey, it's Senator Josh McLaurin. I'm still here at the Fulton Elections Office. We have now moved to the phase where the FBI is loading boxes of ballots onto these big moving trucks. These ballots are from 2020. They're just pursuing baseless conspiracy theories. It doesn't even sound like the local FBI office is on board with this. This is just a national FBI move to grab over 700 boxes of Fulton County ballots to try to vindicate Donald Trump's hurt ego from the 2020 elections. You know, again, this is very dangerous stuff. They're also trying to create a pretext for the state of Georgia to take over Fulton elections because there's been, Fulton has been the punching bag for state Republicans and for Donald Trump for a very long time. So again, I mean, this is what we're into right now. We've got the caution tape here. It says crime scene on it. This was a civil lawsuit, and now they're trying to escalate it and make it criminal, except we don't even know who the defendants are. right? So they haven't even named the defendant or sent a target letter to anybody to tell them they might be under criminal investigation, which just further bolsters the evidence that this is a witch hunt, that it's a goose chase, and they're just trying to get their hands on some ballots that they've been trying to get for years now, because Trump is still mad that he lost. So we're going to keep monitoring for you. We're going to give you updates, but Fulton County is banding together, the state legislative delegation, me and other Democrats, along with the Fulton County commissioners, to try to get the word out about this. We just need you to vote harder than ever, because ultimately this comes down to them wanting to mess with your right to vote, and they're worried that you're going to vote in record numbers this year because of how awful Trump has been in Minnesota and elsewhere. So thanks for your time, and we'll keep you updated. Hey, it's Senator Josh McLaurin. I'm still here at the Fulton Elections Office. We have now moved to the phase where the FBI
so that was Josh
is loading.
McLaurin, and he pointed out that they were loading 700 boxes of Fulton County ballots from the 2020 election onto trucks, onto big trucks. I have some other pictures too. I'm going to take some comments from you guys, and I'll show you some other pictures. Let's see. One of our viewers says they are acting pretty defensive. Judge Hat says, what happens if they don't find anything? Fred Flintstone says, I'll never trust Fulton County elections. Radio Gum says, so they're going to chase everyone that didn't vote for Trump in 2020? Let's see here. Stu Givens says there's no expiration for felonies. They are panicking. Railroad says a judge had to believe there was probable cause to issue the warrant. I don't know. We don't have details on the specifics of how that warrant came to be issued, and I would think so. But what specifics, details that the federal government, that the FBI might have told the judge, I don't know. It's a good question. Valerie Tyson says, how do they have time to pull these ballots yet still no Epstein files? One of our viewers, Shem Scherder, says they're building a case for Trump's third term. Okay. Now, what I want to do is, by the way, our viewer Riri Patton thinks it's not good that the public has not been able to see the warrant. I saw the Washington Post had a copy of the warrant, or some sort of part of the warrant, yesterday, but it wasn't detailed. It didn't go into details about the specifics. Okay, so what we're going to do now what I want to do is I have a video from today of Fulton County officials talking about this raid, in which reportedly 700 boxes of 2020 ballots from Fulton County, Georgia, got loaded up onto trucks by the FBI and driven away. Let me show you a couple more photos from this raid before showing you what the Fulton County officials had to say. So here are some photos for you. Oops, I have too much on my screen right now. So much on my screen. I need to just get this so I can show this to you. One moment, please. There we go. Where did this thing go? Here, now I'm going to show you the photos. So it's from this article, FBI searches Atlanta election office chasing 2020 vote fraud claims. And look, there's one of the FBI trucks outside the, you'll see it in a second, outside of the main election warehouse. Oops, the main election warehouse for Fulton County. Where's the next one? Where's the next picture? FBI Evidence Response Team. It's a whole operation. We have, I showed you Tulsi Gabbard. That is, hold on a second, this is going to be a Deputy Director of the FBI, Andrew Bailey. This is a picture of Georgia officials attempting to, Georgia state elected officials attempt to access the Fulton County Elections Hub and Operations Center, but are turned away by the FBI, or after the FBI executed a search warrant there. Here's a picture of that. You can see it says Fulton County Registration and Elections. All right, what I want to do, I want to show you what Fulton County officials had to say about this today. Media briefing. Was this from today or yesterday? I thought they said something today. Hold on, I can see the thing from yesterday. I have the briefing from yesterday, actually. I thought there was one today as well. Hold on a moment. Let me just get this pulled up for you. Wasn't there one today? Well, I'll play you the one from yesterday. Maybe we'll do a poll first. Let's do a poll. The poll is going to be, by the way, I'm behind on thanking people. I got to thank a couple people too. The poll is, will there be federal charges how can I write this in a short way? Will anyone in Fulton County be federally charged for election? For 2020 election. Okay, I just posted it on, at least I got it posted over on YouTube. I'm sorry, I'm way behind on thanking people. I owe a couple thanks to people. Let me get the poll posted and then I'll do it. It's busy. Twitch, I have to, I kind of abbreviated the question for our Twitch viewers. Okay. Charged. Will there be federal charges? The poll question is, will there be federal charges coming up for anyone in Fulton County over the 2020 election? That is my question to you. Doesn't mean convicted. Here is what our viewers had to say over there on YouTube. They say, 56% yes, 44% no. And then, give me 1 second here. Oops. That's the crypto. I don't want crypto. I want this. On Twitch, we have Twitch is divided. Look at Twitch. 50-50 on Twitch. 50-50. Comment Chef says this DOJ has attempted the most failed prosecutions in U.S. history. Yes, I'm feeling a bit better today. Thank you. My nose is much less stuffed. Waltham, Mass. Says yes, there will be, but will follow the same path as Comey and Letitia James both flopped in court. Betsy's tag says, what will it prove or change? This guy is desperate. Our viewer Grant says, probably someone will be charged. If those charges stick is another matter. One of the viewers wants me to put I don't know in the polls. Well, for now I didn't. Sorry. Yeah, whatever or whatnot says charged or convicted. That is the question. Thanks for voting in our poll. Real quick, let me thank a couple people. I'm so behind. I did a bad job today at thanking people. I'm sorry. I apologize. Let me catch up right now. I have to thank a couple people. I really appreciate it. I am Charlie. Thank you so much for the memberships. Thank you so much to Dave Wilson. Thank you, Dave Wilson, for your support. Michael McIsaac. Michael McIsaac mentioned the story about the Trump administration reportedly talking to a group of separatists in, I think it's Alberta, Canada. We will talk about that. Thank you, Michael. Michael said the premier of British Columbia called it treason. I'll have to look that up. Thanks, I am Charlie, for your support. J.K. Glasner and JZ Gamer. Thank you, JZ Gamer. Maybe we'll talk about the funding thing. Again, there's this question of will there be a government shutdown or will... It's looking like Democrats and Trump are going towards some kind of deal to try to avoid a government shutdown on Friday. Rob PZ, thanks for your support. Lisa Brown, our member. Donda, our member. Dingbat from the UK, that's so nice of you, Dingbat, thank you. Thanks, Melting Ice Forever, who says, Melting Ice says, if Donald Trump won the 2020 election, doesn't that mean he's an unconstitutional president now and should be impeached promptly? But he's joking. He or she is joking. No, it's a she. She is joking. Baby Blue Sky, thanks for being a member. The Sparky Pilot, Tashafa. Tashafa says when we go to cast ballots, we do it in privacy. We just don't show our hands when the election is over. Think, people. Thanks, Rez Jr. Prod, who thinks ICE will be at polling stations to intimidate this coming election. Thanks, Mitchell Pilot, who says, if there are charges, will the left accept it? If there are not charges, will the right accept it? Nope. Thanks, FlesherNet. FlesherNet says the government as a whole does sketchy and illegal things to get their way. Both sides. This isn't surprising to me. I guess the question is, does it have to really matter to does this matter to the average citizen? Also, thanks so much to Moomed2 for subscribing on Twitch, and Grant P for subscribing, and Ruach YHWH for being a member. So, I told you guys, I'm going to now play you a video of what Fulton County officials had to say about this. Again, federal FBI went and raided the main elections warehouse in Fulton County, Georgia, where most of Atlanta is, yesterday, and reportedly took around 700 boxes of ballots and put them on big trucks and drove them away. Ballots from the 2020 election. Okay? And the Washington Post says Trump's grievances about the outcome of the 2020 election race. Trump's grievances about the outcome of the 2020 race have been rejected many times by courts and state and federal officials who found no evidence of fraud that would have altered the outcome. Clea Mitchell. Oh, here's a little background here. Fulton County's 2020 mail ballots, which were among the items sought by Wednesday's warrant, have long been a fixation for the MAGA movement. Though ballots are usually required to be kept for 22 months, a Georgia judge ordered the county's mail ballots indefinitely preserved during ongoing litigation. Clea Mitchell, a longtime GOP lawyer and fundraiser who worked closely with Trump to try to overturn the 2020 results, celebrated yesterday's search warrant as a culmination of 5 years of advocacy and a pressure campaign by the DOJ during the past few months. A lot of us have been saying, just go get the damn ballots, people, she said. Senator John Ossoff of Georgia, Democrat, said yesterday, hold on. Senator Ossoff said yesterday, Trump lost Georgia in 2020, but today he continued his sore losers crusade with an FBI raid on a Georgia election office. Senator Ossoff, Democrat, said yesterday, from Minnesota to Georgia, we're watching the president unravel, weaponizing federal law enforcement for personal power and revenge. We must stop him. And I just want to show you one more time. This is the Mo Ivory. This is Fulton County Commissioner Mo Ivory at the scene of the raid yesterday. I just want to show this one more time, and then what I'm going to do is show you the Fulton officials, what they had to say after. But this is her at the scene of the raid. Oops, hold on a second. Why am I hearing, I'm hearing something extra. Someone's talking. Someone is talking. Where is that coming from? I bet I know where it's coming from. No, not there. Let's see. It's not there. Oh, I think the Minneapolis mayor is going to speak in a second. Hey guys, the Minneapolis mayor is going to speak in a second, and I'm going to show you that, I think. But before I show you that, real quick, let's look at Mo Ivory, Fulton County Commissioner, speaking from the raid yesterday. Let me get it up here on the screen for you. Can I play this here?
Now. So I just want you to be like real discerning about all that you're hearing from people who are on the outside of what's going on. I'm going to give you the truth about what's happening. So they served a warrant, the FBI, this is Trump, serving a warrant to go pick up the 2020 ballots, which are in a secure location inside of here, 700 boxes. The first warrant that they gave was incorrect legally, like they didn't follow the right procedure. They went back and they fixed it, and they came back and now they are actually collecting the boxes. They are in the chain of command in Fulton County is that once they are archived, they become the possession of the clerk of Superior Court, which is Shay Alexander. She is here and she is with them inventorying everything that they're taking. We, the commissioners, the chairman, the county attorney, are trying to figure out a legal plan as to maybe an injunction, a motion to quash. We don't know yet. We're trying to figure it out. We're getting all kinds of legal advice to stop this, because once they have the ballots How do we then turn around and do something different when they've already got their hands on it? So this is an attempt to take your vote away. This is all about November 2026, about the primary on May 19th and then the November election. He does not want the midterm elections to take away his power. So he's trying to create chaos. So this is what he does. Chaos in Minnesota, chaos in Fulton County. We are a target. Protect your vote at all costs. I'm telling you, everybody always says your life depends on it. Oh, your life does depend on it this time.
That's Mo Ivory. All right, hold on. Is the mayor speaking yet in a lot going on right now? Oh, Mayor Fry is speaking right now. Let's go to Mayor Fry live. Mayor Fry is live speaking at an event. So let's listen in on Mayor Fry. Hold on. He's speaking.
This is not a time to bend our heads in despair or out of fear that we may be next, because if we do not speak up, if we do not step out, it will be your city that is next. For those of you that have been watching the news and what's happened in Minneapolis, I'll tell you, it is that bad. People's constitutional rights have been trampled. Thousands of federal agents have descended on a city that has 600 police officers. 600 police officers and somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 federal agents, ICE, and Border Patrol. People have been indiscriminately pulled off the street. Discrimination takes place only on the basis of are you Somali, are you Latino, or are you Southeast Asian? And then American citizens have been yanked away from their homes after that solely because they look like they are from Mexico or Ecuador or Somalia. That's not how we operate in America. In America, we have these foundational principles of law. We abide by our Constitution. The rule of law is not just something that you say, but it is something that we practice each and every day. And as mayors, we know that. As mayors, we operate in the reality business. It is a reality that we've got to keep people safe on a daily basis. And by the way, we do that, partnering with a number of different jurisdictions, working with our federal government. In Minneapolis, we've worked extensively with the ATF and the FBI and the DEA, the U.S. Attorney's Office, to successfully drive down crime. And despite what you may hear on different media channels, crime is down in virtually every category and virtually every neighborhood of Minneapolis. Minneapolis is a safe city. It is less safe when chaos reigns supreme. It is less safe when families do not feel comfortable going to school or buying food at the grocery store because they're worried that their very family might get ripped apart. It is less safe when we have roving bands of agents marching down the street just looking for somebody who might be concerned. And I gotta tell you, everybody is concerned when you have that kind of occupation. And so we've been very clear. The Operation Metro Surge needs to end. This kind of conduct and siege needs to stop, not just in Minneapolis. It needs to stop nationwide. What's become clear to me is this is obviously not about safety. This is not even about immigration. This is about silencing a narrative or a political position that differs from that of a federal administration. We've seen this kind of conduct in other countries. We cannot see it right here in America. This is not a Democratic or a Republican issue. Never once have I made this partisan. This is a foundational principle of making sure that the endurance of our republic can continue on. It may seem like I'm talking too much on the macro level, or maybe this is a concerning thing to say, but I gotta tell you, we're seeing it in our streets right now. And it is up to each and every one of us to partner together, to work together, to protect those ideals that we hold firm. The power of the federal government is awesome. The military force that they have, they got tanks, they got bazookas. They can lay siege on American cities with thousands of agents and even troops, far outnumbering that of local police department. In Minneapolis, we've heard them say that they will end this siege when we hand over voter rolls. We've seen them attack and invade not just with this occupation, but also with the Department of Justice being used as a weapon. They're investigating me and several other local elected officials, not because we've done something wrong, but because we have exhibited one of the core responsibilities that both I and you have as mayors. And that is the core and foundational responsibility to speak on behalf of your constituents. I'm going to continue to speak on behalf of my constituents. We won't be intimidated in Minneapolis, and if there is any place to take inspiration from, don't take it from me. Take it from the 435,000 Minneapolis residents that call our great city home and the many more that come and go. Take it from the tens of thousands of people that have stood up and peacefully protested to say we love our neighbor, we care about our collective family, and we're going to do everything possible to keep them safe. Take inspiration from the people that are dropping their neighbors off to the grocery store or standing guard outside a daycare to make sure that their families don't get ripped apart. Take it from the countless people that are exhibiting this foundational love of both city and, importantly, country. This is an opportunity to be a patriot, to stand up for the kinds of liberties and freedoms that we all hold dear. As a nation of immigrants, it should not matter where you are from. We rise based on our own merit. We fall based on our own flaws. Whole communities are not held accountable for the actions of a few. In America, we've got that kind of due process. We got to stand by that due process where you actually have rights. Those rights are exhibited in the form of a court system. And the battlefield that we need to be operating on is that court system right now. Look, in cities, we have laws that we abide by. We have work that we need to do. And the reality is you can't exercise the extraordinary power that the federal government has to force nationwide outcomes on localized issues, leaving our own citizens as collateral damage in a hostile negotiation. By their own words, what we've seen this administration push for is this whole concept that might makes right. That might makes right. Stephen Miller has pushed for this concept, calling it the iron law of the world. That might makes right. Stephen Miller is wrong. Time and again, America has rejected the law of the jungle. Time and again, America has rejected this notion that might makes right. That notion and that belief that we are of something greater than simply force has allowed our country to rise in international influence and allowed great cities to be laboratories of democracy. We must reject the notion that might makes right again and again. We must understand that it is not the clash of iron that furthers the notions of democracy, but it is the intense battle of ideas. Might does not make right. In cities, we all recognize that ideas make right. And so, from Portland, Maine, to Portland Avenue in Minneapolis, to Portland, Oregon, Mayors, we do not back down to bullies. We stand up for democracy. We understand that the common ideals that we hold are essential to the endurance of our great republic. This may not have been a battle that we signed up for. Each and every one of us entered public service for a different reason. Some of us entered to keep our cities safe. Some of us entered because we love to build affordable housing. Some of us entered because we care about climate. But now is also a moment where we all got to stand together. You have this unique relationship with the American electorate. This is more important than being a Democrat or a Republican. This has to do with our day-to-day lives, who we are as a people, who we are as a democracy, and who we can be as American citizens. Mayors have that important role. I know that you will carry it out, and I cannot be prouder to be part of this tremendous team. And so, on behalf of all of these incredible Minneapolis residents that are going through a very difficult time right now, to say the least, thank you. On behalf of the next city and the city after that that may experience this kind of invasion, thank you. We got to hold rock solid. We cannot back down. Our cities, our mayors are what will hold this democracy together. Thank you so much.
All right, so that was Mayor Fry. Now, by the way, the Prime Minister of Canada is speaking right now. Is he speaking about this report today by any chance about Trump officials talking to separatists? Let me just check this. Hold on. In Canada?
Comments as well as these meetings with anyone from the Trump administration.
Listen.
There are channels to raise those concerns. I haven't I mean, these comments are within the past 24, 48 hours. I don't have a running commentary on everything the administration does. I stand by what I just said about respecting our sovereignty, our expectations of the U.S. administration, and the clarity with which I've always expressed that directly to the President.
Question, question, Mike.
I'm Mr. Mike Lookner with CTV News. I want to ask you and Premier Smith about this. Does a new pipeline through BC have to go to the northwest coast?
Under the, I'll begin, and then Premier. Under the Memorandum of Understanding, which I will reemphasize, as I'm sure the Premier, I'll save the Premier having to do this, but I will reemphasize, has many aspects to it. From cooperation on data centers, cooperation on nuclear power, cooperation on interties, cooperation more broadly, and on creating a whole new industry, if you will, in carbon capture and storage and beyond, has all those aspects. Some of those aspects, as we discussed with Premier Eby, but it was a much broader discussion.
All right, sorry, I think he was referring to that story. We haven't even finished covering the Fulton County thing. But I want to mention the Canada story for a second here. There's so much happening. Hang on. Where is it here? No, hold on. Is this the Premier of Alberta? Hold on a second.
Impact of the Trans Mountain Pipeline. It has narrowed the differential.
Doesn't sound like she's talking about Trump. Okay, so Global News Canada says the BC Premier, David Eby, said that reported meetings between Canadian separatist leaders and U.S. Treasury officials to talk about separation amounts to treason. The Financial Times had reported that leaders in the Alberta Prosperity Project, a group spearheading a separatist movement in Canada, has met 3 times with State Department officials in Washington since April. Our viewer, Undead Monarch, says, is that not an act of war? Give me 1 second here. Yeah, so David Eby posted on his social media today. Hold on a second. If I can show you this. He is the Premier of British Columbia. And he said there's an old word to describe going to a foreign power and asking for their assistance in breaking up a sovereign country. It's treason. Canadians are standing together in defense of this beautiful land. I'm just trying to find you a little more information on this. Axios reports that the Trump administration reportedly hosted an Albertan from Alberta, Canada, separatist group seeking independence from Canada. The Financial Times reported separatist leaders from Canada have met U.S. officials in Washington 3 times since last spring. However, the CBC reports that this group of separatists, their goal is not to be a U.S. state. They want sovereignty independent of the U.S. Oh, and this is the Alberta Prosperity. Is it called the Alberta? They say the group is called the Alberta Prosperity Project. Okay? And what is he talking about right now? Hold on. Just want to see. I don't think Carney is talking about this. Oh, no, he's talking French. So the Alberta Prosperity Project posted on their website, in recent months, Alberta Prosperity Project representatives have undertaken several strategic trips to Washington, D.C. to foster discussions on Alberta's potential as an independent nation. These engagements, led by figures such as Miss Sylvestra, Jeff Rath, and Dr. Dennis Maudry, underscore our commitment to securing international support and alliances that align with Alberta's interests. Far from seeking interference, these visits emphasize building partnerships with our closest neighbor and largest trading partner, the United States, to ensure a smooth transition to sovereignty. Wow. Oh, you know, that post isn't even from that post is from 4 weeks ago. That post is from 4 weeks ago on the Alberta Prosperity Project page. So that post from them was 4 weeks ago. But the news we're seeing today is that, again, to repeat this news, reportedly, leaders of the Alberta Prosperity Project, the group that is spearheading the separatist movement, have already met 3 times with U.S. State Department officials in Washington since April. That's from Global BC and Financial Times, I believe. Our viewer Lakimaman says, is this America's Donetsk? I think that's what they said. Trying to get you a little more background on this. By the way, here's Wikipedia on Alberta separatism. Alberta separatism comprises a series of 20th and 21st century movements advocating the secession of the province of Alberta from Canada, with some groups supporting the creation of a sovereign union with other provinces of Western Canada, or Alberta joining the United States as a state or territory. The main issues driving separatist sentiment has been the power disparity relative to Ottawa and other Western provinces, a sense of distinctiveness with regard to Alberta's cultural and political identity and Canadian fiscal policy, particularly as it pertains to Alberta's petroleum industry. The concept of separation has gained considerable media attention in the aftermath of the 2025 federal election, which resulted in a 4th consecutive Liberal victory. In 2025, the Alberta Forever Canada Citizen Initiative opposing Alberta's separation from Canada was launched and verified by Elections Alberta after it surpassed the required amount of signatures, while in early 2026, Election Alberta has approved a petition which, if garnishing enough signatures, will lead to a separation referendum. The what says a bunch of noise. Sorry, I wasn't even planning. This wasn't on the list of topics for the broadcast. Oh, the topics were included and more. But I think it's a very interesting story coming out today. Yeah, and just a little more, again, the Financial Times, who I believe is the original outlet reporting this today, they said that the Trump administration has held the Trump administration has held covert meetings with fringe separatists from Canada's oil-rich province of Alberta as a rift deepens between Washington and Ottawa. Yes, and they also say leaders of the Alberta Prosperity Project, a group of far-right separatists who want Alberta to become independent, met U.S. State Department officials in Washington 3 times since April of last year. And the legal counsel for this separatist group told the Financial Times that the U.S. is extremely enthusiastic about a free and independent Alberta. A White House official said administration officials meet with a number of civil society groups. No such support or any other commitments was conveyed. You can look that up at the Financial Times. The Financial Times also points out that the Separatist Party in Canada has adopted similar themes to the UK's Brexit movement. Wow. Guys, is this another story floating under the radar? I know we have some Canadian viewers. I wonder if they're particularly exercised about this. I might be able to go back and play some comments from that event that just happened. And again, the Premier of British Columbia, Canada, said today that Alberta separatists meeting with the Trump administration amounts to treason. Okay. All right, let me read some comments here. Sorry, I just wanted to try to get you guys some background on that story. Ooh, maybe I can replay you what the Prime Minister just spoke in Canada, and I think he said, we kind of caught the end of what he said, but I think I can maybe get you the comments. If you give me 2 seconds here, just give me 2 seconds. I'm just listening to see if I get where he talked about it exactly. It's a little bit delicate here to get this.
Ambitious. We're starting. Canadian workers.
You know, I'm not going to worry about. I might try it later when I can download it. It's a little hard to kind of go through, and the way I have it right now, I don't have it so I can just download the whole thing and go through it. So I will. Ooh, what's this? I'll try to check on that in a little bit. By the way, hey, quick thanks to Shaft for the memberships. I really appreciate it. Shaft, thank you so much. Thanks, Not Nylok, for your support. Not Nylok thinks conservatives are natural traitors regardless of country. No countryman they wouldn't betray to get their own way. Wow. Thanks, I Am Charlie, who says Minnesota for Alberta, and we will add California. Thanks, Interactive, for your support. Thank you so much, Janet B., for the memberships. That's really nice of you. Thanks, Kerry Poteet, for the memberships. Very nice of you, Kerry. And thanks to, hold on a moment here. Joe 9611. Joe says, if you paid the Chinese mafia to smuggle you into Japan, didn't pay taxes, and signed up for government benefits, what would the Japanese government do to you? Thanks, Joe9611. Thanks also, ND Rose and Ellen H5I. I want to take a little more, read a few more comments from the chat about this whole story about the U.S. meeting with this U.S. State Department reportedly meeting 3 times since last April with this separatist group from Alberta, Canada. Our viewer Joe Arrow thinks Trump collaborating with Calgary separatists is almost an act of war, certainly an act of aggression. Let's see here. John Paub says treason would depend on what was discussed and agreed upon. In any event, there's not enough support in Alberta to allow it to happen. Garden Lady says, I know many Canadians who want/are living are moving to the USA. I assume this is a really big story in Canada. Our viewer, hold on. Randy Leahy says, just seems like more senseless divide. One of the viewers said, not one Canadian I know wants anything to do with us. Muramasa says Canadians have no idea what's about to happen. So much going on. We didn't even finish covering Fulton County. Jeffrey Rath, who's, I believe, the legal counsel for this separatist group we've been talking about, he posted today, hold on his X account, and I think he's talking about a bunch of, what happened here? A bunch of politicians in Canada. He says, I hope every real Albertan internalizes that Nenshi, Eby, Ford, Kenny, Carney, and others wouldn't be talking about Alberta independence and having public tantrums if they didn't know we are winning. Our viewer Jamie Desjardins thinks it's not a big story. Canadians don't buy into the propaganda from USA. Handful of maple MAGAs. DJS thinks it's a fun story, though. DJS thinks it's a fun story. All right, can we go back for a second to Fulton County? I wonder if AFP has something. Give me 1 second here. I wonder if AFP has something posted about that. Give me 2 seconds. Oh, I can't check that right. I think I can't check it on this computer. I have to check that up later. Okay. Let's get back. I still haven't even gotten to show you what Fulton County officials said yesterday after this FBI raid. That, remember, the FBI, Fulton County is in Georgia. President Trump lost Georgia narrowly in the 2020 election. President Trump claims he won the 2020 election. The FBI yesterday raided the main elections warehouse in Fulton County, Georgia. Fulton County has most of Atlanta in it. And reportedly took away about 700 boxes of 2020 ballots, the FBI. So we were talking about this earlier with you, and just before we get back into that, let me just say a quick thanks to our moderators. Thanks to Shaf for the memberships. I appreciate it, Shaf. And thanks to Artemis768. Artemis thinks Trump wants to fulfill a fantasy of using a WMD on someone before at some point in his life. That's why he's willing to start a war with anyone, including Canada? Wow. That's a bold theory from Artemis. Let's see here. Thank you to our moderators, Beth, Mythical, and Ruth over there on YouTube are moderating right now. I greatly appreciate it. We also have moderating, hang on a moment, on Twitch. Big Ball of Yarn, De Bears, I got that fire. Matthew Kohai 3, Sarah and Surly Dev, thank you. And on Misha, on X, Misha, Linda Belk, Larry, thank you for moderating over there. And hang on a moment here. Too much happening today. Too many different stories. It's not a bad thing, though. We have Kay Larry, Body, Margaret Riley moderating over there on Facebook. Thank you. Thanks, Christy Claft, for subscribing over there, and all of our other subscribers. Paul Anderson is modding too. Thank you. Okay, so what I'm going to do, just to refresh everybody's memory about this, without going over it all again, to refresh everybody's memory about this story about the FBI raid on the Fulton County Elections Warehouse. I'm going to play like a 1-minute video here just discussing that raid, and then we'll show you what Fulton County officials said about it. Again, this is
Fulton
from this,
County out.
Oops, this is from this
Wednesday.
article. Oops, FBI searches Atlanta election office chasing 2020 vote fraud claims. This was election office outside of Atlanta. All right, here you go. Check it out. Just to refresh our memory of this story.
The FBI searched an election office in Georgia's Fulton County outside Atlanta on Wednesday, pursuing U.S. President Donald Trump's false claims that his 2020 election defeat was because of widespread voting fraud. An FBI statement said its agents executed a warrant at the Fulton County Election Hub and Operations Center. A law enforcement official who spoke to Reuters said the agents were looking to seize computers and ballots they believed were held at the facility as part of an investigation into possible election interference. Trump unsuccessfully sought to overturn the 2020 election result in Georgia, pressuring the state's top election official to, quote, find votes that would allow him to claim victory. Several reviews and a hand audit of ballots confirmed that Democrat Joe Biden narrowly won the state. Wednesday's search came a week after Trump again made his debunked claim that voting in 2020 was a rigged election, and that, quote, people will soon be prosecuted for what they did. The director of the FBI, Kash Patel, was appointed to his post by Trump last year.
That is a Reuters video.
The FBI
just to get you some background. And now, finally, what I want to show you is this is what this is a media briefing yesterday following the FBI raid. Some Fulton County officials. So let me just get this on the screen for you so you can see what they had to say about this. So we put that here, put this there, put this, hold on. There. You'll see it in a second. Right there. Oops. Media briefing following FBI raid. And this is from yesterday. Via Fulton County government. Okay, let's hear what they had to say about this. Let's hear what they had to say about this yesterday. Here we go.
You will hear this morning from Fulton County Chairman Rob Pitts, as well as Fulton County Board of Registration and Elections Chair, Ms. Sherry Allen. After they provide some brief remarks, we can take a few questions. Go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
All right, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. Let me start with this statement. I want to be crystal clear. Fulton County has been targeted for years because I stood up to Donald Trump's big lie and refused to bend to pressure. In 2020, I told him and others, including then Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, then Congressman Matt Gaetz, and the president himself, to stay the hell out of Fulton County. I meant it then, and I mean it today. Every audit, every recount, every court ruling has confirmed what we, the people of Fulton County, already knew. Our elections were fair and accurate, and every legal vote was counted. These ongoing efforts are about intimidation and distraction, not facts. I will always stand with our voters, our election workers, and most importantly, the truth. As you all know by now, yesterday, shortly after noon, until around 9 o'clock last night, the FBI made a surprise execution of a criminal search warrant at the Fulton County Elections Hub. Now today, I want to speak directly to Fulton County voters as your chairman. Some people have asked, and are still asking, why didn't you turn over the records? Why didn't you fight? Number one, let me be, again, crystal clear. There is a fight. Fulton County is now, has been, and always will be committed to upholding the law, no matter what anyone else does. Our attorneys carefully reviewed the search warrant and advised me and others that it was in the best interest of Fulton County to comply, which we did. Secondly, one of the strangest things about this case is these records were the subject of active litigation and, quite frankly, were likely to be unsealed and turned over in a matter of weeks. All he had to do was ask the judge to do so, but albeit in a much more orderly manner. We in Fulton County have nothing to hide. And finally, and most importantly, this is by no means over. This is by no means over. And we're grateful for everyone around the country who is in this fight with us. And they're with us from every corner of this great nation. Any honest review of these files will show what every previous review has shown. Fulton County elections are fair and lawful, and the outcome of the 2020 election will not change, period. Let me talk about voter protections. Now, we do not know where our election records have been taken or what will happen to them now that they are out of our control. While they were here, they were safe and they secure. Once they left Fulton County, our election center, I don't know where they are, I don't know who has them, I don't know what they're doing with them. We can no longer be held responsible for those ballots and other data that was seized yesterday. But what I'm hoping that we will stand together to ensure that no data is ever weaponized. Poll worker protection. After the 2020 elections, Fulton County poll workers endured brutal and targeted harassment. And now it is imperative that data from the 2020 election not be used to further harass our poll workers who have already endured so much. Fast forward, this year, 2026 elections. This week's activities show that Fulton County is still much a target, and I'm told that I am personally a target. I'm a big boy. Now, while we've grown accustomed to name-calling and rhetoric, we will not give 1 inch to those who seek to take control of our elections. Now, hear what I just said. We will not give 1 inch to those who seek to take control of elections in Fulton County. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. We're going to fight this in court with every resource that we have. And again, I'm very grateful to the support that is coming to us from around the country. Time and time again, the law has been on our side. And the greatest legal minds in the country agree it will be once again. I want to thank the local and national legal communities for their overwhelming support to us in this moment in the history of Fulton County, Georgia. Thank you.
I just want to say that Fulton County's Department of Registration and Elections has continued and will continue to maintain efficient, transparent, and accurate elections and election results. Our duty is to the voters and to the county voters, the electorate that goes out. We do not care what their political position is. We are there to make sure that they have an efficient process, that the process is fair, that the results are accurately and transparently reported. And that's what we will continue to do. We won't take our eye off the ball. We are continuing to focus on the 2026 election and those coming up, and Fulton County will stand strong. As the chairman said, poll workers have been targeted. We sometimes have difficulty recruiting poll workers because they are concerned about being subject to abuse. And I just want to thank the department and all of the staff that worked tirelessly yesterday until 9 o'clock at night and fully complied with the FBI. Even if we were surprised, we were able to efficiently comply, to discuss, and to make sure that what they were requesting, we complied with. Do we have concerns about the process? Are we concerned about the material, about voter information, and what will happen to personal, private information of voters? Of course we are, but that was out of our hands yesterday. We, like the chairman said, we will continue to be vigilant. We have a policy in Fulton County, if you see something, say something, so that voters know when they go to the polls that if anything goes awry, that someone will be reporting it, and we ourselves make sure that we report and tell anything that happens that's major, and we did that just a couple of months ago. So Fulton County will remain strong. We won't take our eye off the ball, and we thank those who are supporting us, and we hope that you all will continue to be vigilant and to not be subject to misinformation that may come out, because as the chairman said, we don't know how the information will be used. Thank you.
Quick question. So to that point, what sort of posture are you guys taking, like on a granular level, detailing like how voters can make sure that their information is safe, and how confident should voters be heading into the 2026 race that their votes are not only secure but their information?
When you say what are we, you mean as moving forward, what do we do? We always maintain voter maintenance roles, and you know in Georgia they have where that people who may be subject to stalking and things like that, that their information is safe as well. And so we try to make sure that it's not disseminated. Although the public is able to get voter information, it goes from the Secretary of State in order to make sure that people's information is protected, because they are in the best position to do that, not each county. And so that's what we do. Yesterday, with all of the information going and us not knowing exactly how it'll be used, that had private voter information in it as well.
Mr. Chairman, you said that this is by no means over. Can you talk about what steps Fulton County is going to take next?
Well, I don't want to disclose what our legal strategy is, but we will be fighting with every inch of our body, with every resource that we have. We have great counsel. We'll have outside counsel working with her. And everyone has told us that we will prevail in the final analysis.
I'm just going to grab this. Sorry, I may just repeat your question out loud. Go ahead, Richard.
I have a series of questions.
Okay.
My first question, I'm so sorry. Thank you, Jessica. Chairman Pitts, good morning. Thank you for doing this. You said that you were told that you're personally a target. Do you mean you're personally a target of this criminal investigation?
Not the criminal investigation, because of being outspoken and because I've talked about and refuted the lies that have been told about our elections in 2020. That's why I'm on the hit list. That's probably why I was disinvited to the White House, as you'll recall.
Okay, so but DOJ has not informed you?
I have not received anything yet. I have not.
Who do you think the target of this investigation is?
I have no idea.
What do you think the likelihood is that the state election board will try to use some of the information they've gathered as a pretext for taking over Fulton County's election systems?
I think that's a great question, and when I said what I said, one of my remarks was that's what I'm concerned about. It wasn't about yesterday. I think it's about something else that has not been revealed yet. So just stay tuned. We're ready.
Richard, Elliot also had a hand up earlier. Sorry. Then we'll come back to you, Karen. Oh, sorry, I can pass. Richard, just shout it out if you want.
Two quick questions. Have you seen an unsealed? Have you seen yet an unsealed warrant as to who or what the target of the criminal investigation is?
I have not.
No, we saw that it is under seal, but we have not seen it.
Okay, because we understand that it may be that Fulton County is not the target of a criminal investigation, that another entity may be, but it may encompass.
We have no idea. Nothing was explained to us, and it was difficult even getting a copy of the warrant.
Do you believe that this is part of a criminal investigation, or is this part of something else we've seen in other states? Some critics, opponents have said this is intimidation for voters for the midterms and elections moving forward.
I don't want to speculate, but I have heard that, and I have heard that it will not just stop here. There's an issue about voter maintenance rolls and whether or not the federal government should receive those, so I don't know.
And actually, there is a debate going on right now in the Georgia Senate over a resolution to urge the Secretary of State to turn over Georgia voter rolls, including Social Security numbers.
And the Secretary of State has turned over what, according to the law, from what I understand, was allowable.
And Director Allen, do you know exactly how many records roughly were taken yesterday, or how many boxes?
700 boxes, and the reason I know that is because this case was already the subject of litigation, and it was in Superior Court, and so on February 9th was the date that we were scheduled to go in to talk about how everything would be transferred over. We wanted to make sure that we had transferred everything, and this was with the state, and the state would have been present as well, so it wouldn't be something that we just hand to them. Everyone would have been in where the records were kept, and the copies would have been made, and everyone would have seen that. That's not what happened yesterday. So we know that all the boxes were taken, and we know that according to our count, and we had been working with our attorneys to make sure that we had accurately determined what the information was electronically and in documents, and it was 700 boxes.
Chairman, you mentioned that you guys made the strategic decision yesterday to comply with allowing the FBI to take these documents. I see the county attorney here, and I know that you guys have a legal strategy. By complying, does that limit what you can do legally to
retrieve those documents, to get them back, to have a better understanding of what they're going to use them for?
I don't know the answer to that, but by comply, I meant that when we received a call shortly afternoon, I conferred with the county attorney. We went to the elections hub to make sure, first and foremost, that our employees were safe, but then to make sure that we were complying with whatever the FBI was requesting. And in fact, I was not even allowed where they were. I could peek in, but I wasn't even allowed in the area to see what they were taking.
And that was the case with everyone, that we did have someone from the department who knew what the records were, and a couple of people, but I was allowed in to discuss with them and trying to negotiate a reasonable way to transfer documents and for us to maintain copies, but that wasn't allowed.
Some critics of the execution of this warrant have expressed concerns about the security of the ballots and the information, and that the information wouldn't be reviewed fairly. Do you share any of those same concerns?
Absolutely. I mean, as long as those documents were here in Fulton County, in our elections hub, under our care, I was confident that they were safe and secure. Once they left that facility last night in those FBI trucks, I don't know where they are now. I don't know who has them. I don't know what they're doing with them. Are they opening the boxes? Are they stuffing other ballots in there? I have no clue. I can use my imagination.
I think Caleb had a question as well. Excuse me.
Yes, going back to saying you could be a target, are you guys concerned that the administration may target officials like yourself and potentially arrest them?
I mean, I guess everything is a possibility. When I say that I've been told that that's the case, if it is the case, I mean, that goes with the job. This is a full-time job for me. I'm the spokesperson for Fulton County. I'm the face of the county. I take that responsibility serious. And if it comes to that, so be it. We have done everything right. We've complied with the law. We will continue to comply with the law. And as far as future elections, I can guarantee the public that our elections will always be open, fair, and transparent, and every legal vote will be counted.
And I'd like to note that we have conducted 17 elections since 2020. 17 that we have conducted in Fulton County without incident, without any major problems, and we will continue to do so.
Guys, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. I'm sorry, one last question, since our friend who probably got stuck in traffic.
If you could tell us what exactly was taken and if any voting machines were taken.
No, voting machines were taken, but I can't tell you exactly what was taken. We do know, like I said, we had the 700 boxes, but I do know other documents were looked into too that we did not believe had anything to do with 2020.
Thank you. All right, thank you guys so much.
So we heard from that was the Fulton County government. It's a Fulton County special report. The government officials, as of yesterday, they didn't even know exactly what was taken. But it was a bunch of, I believe it included a bunch of ballots from the 2020 election, maybe other stuff as well. Let's see here. For example, just to be clear, according to the Washington Post, who obtained a copy of the warrant authorized agents to seize all physical ballots from the 2020 election and voting machine tabulator tapes and images produced during the ballot count and voter rolls from 2020. Now, I don't know what they took. The officials weren't sure exactly what they took, but they did say they thought they took 700 boxes. Okay. Oh, you know, YouTube Enjoyer says it said yesterday, but the presser was today. So this was confusing to me because, maybe that was, I know what happened. Here's what happened. That actually was today. Today is the 29th. Today is the 29th, right? If you go to the YouTube page for Fulton County Government Television, look what it says, the 28th. So when I read the title, I said, I was confused because I thought there was supposed to be a press conference today. And then it said the 20th, and I said, I guess they haven't posted today's yet, but I'll show you yesterday's. But then it said streamed 3 hours ago. So I guess this suggests it was today. I was just literally looking at the title, which says the 28th. So I actually, thanks to our viewer YouTube Enjoyer, I think YouTube Enjoyer is right. I think that was from today. Again, in my defense, it literally says January 28th, but it also says streamed 3 hours ago. I thought maybe they put it up a day late or something. Anyways, so yes, it looks like it was from today. So they don't even know as of today what was taken. Okay. So that's a whole story. Again, that was Fulton County government posted that. Our viewer Lizzie says these people better lawyer up. Weather says it sounds like Fulton County is covering up something. Sarcasm BTC says that is a ton of boxes. Bluesy Girl thinks they're in trouble. CFI Surf says definitely sus. Our viewer where was it here? Spaceman says Trump is so blank hurt. And Chris thinks POTUS can't take a loss. So, look, I don't know if there are going to be charges for this, but this was a major operation. This involved big trucks. And you heard in the press briefing, the FBI was there from noon until 9 p.m. So, you would think that if they're putting that much effort into this raid, that it might lead to something in terms of charges. I don't know. I have no idea. Blank Bet says, give us the truth, that's all. Pretty Boy Floyd says, Trump is our president. Babushka says, Trump is wasting so much money. By the way, one of our viewers said, trust the process. Shroot Singh said, trust the process, I think. Oh, no, Shroot Singh said Trump was speaking soon. Somebody else said, trust the process. I think Trump is supposed to talk at 4:30 local. Hey, by the way, thanks so much to Danny Morales. Danny, that's really nice of you. It's really kind of very generous support from Danny Morales. I really appreciate that. Also, thanks to Old Boy Pona for your support and YouTube Enjoyer. Old Boy says second biggest scandal in American history and it's still January. Thanks Artemis 768. Also, thank you to... We haven't even talked about Tom Homan yet. There's a lot going on today. We haven't even talked about Tom Homan yet. All right, hang on a moment. One moment here. Tom Homan gave an update this morning. We didn't cover it live. Sorry we didn't cover it live. Hold on a second here. I'm seeing a couple reports about something else. Several reports I'm seeing says that man posed as FBI agent to get accused murderer Luigi Mangione out of jail, court filing. ABC News says a Minnesota man allegedly tried to get Luigi Mangione out of New York. ABC News is reporting that Mark Anderson, 36, from Minnesota, was charged with impersonating a federal agent after authorities said he showed up at the prison in Brooklyn claiming to be an FBI agent with a court order to release Mangione. That's from ABC News. He allegedly approached the intake area inside the MDC and claimed he had paperwork signed by a judge authorizing the release of a specific inmate. And he was trying to get Mangione freed. This is according to ABC News. Also, ABC News says that the man who was charged for this said he had weapons in his bag, but inside the bag was a barbecue fork and a pizza cutter. Anyways, that man who tried to allegedly break Luigi Mangione out of jail by impersonating an FBI agent has been charged with impersonating a federal agent. Just to let you know about that. Jason Santoro said, I don't think Tom is going to like what the Mayor Fry said earlier. We watched some of Mayor Fry speaking earlier, talking about the situation in Minneapolis. Jonathan's Back claims that 100 people were arrested for protesting at a hotel last night where they believed ICE agents were staying. Is that true? I don't know where that 100 number is coming from. I know BG on the Scene appeared to be showing some arrests on his stream last night. Oh, PJ Bachman sent me this. Thanks, PJ. So at the start of this stream, we had President Trump was doing one of his cabinet meetings that's actually live broadcasted, live streamed. And what I said to you is, well, I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but we'll wait because I anticipate him answering questions at the end. And then as we saw, he wrapped it up and then he said he just didn't take questions. And I said, that's strange. I said, I mean, every time I've seen the cabinet meetings when they're live streamed, he takes questions. So Caitlin Collins with CNN posted, in what I believe is a first, President Trump declines to take any questions at his cabinet meeting. So she follows these things closely. She's probably been at some of these cabinet meetings. But anyways, she certainly has covered the White House for a while. She says that she believes today was the first time that Trump, in one of these cabinet meetings, did not take questions. Usually he answers questions for it's like a while. I've seen the cabinet meetings, it can go on for a half an hour or more. Dave Zenbinda says Iran feels hot right now. Yeah, I mean, I'll certainly, look, I've been talking about this on past streams, that it's possible the U.S. could attack Iran soon. There's reports of more resources still going to the Middle East. Certainly if there's huge news on that, we'll come on the air and we'll cover it. Jay Driddle said he has been very transparent with the questions. Why he did not want to take them today, I don't know. Maybe he didn't feel like it. I have no idea. Our viewer, hold on, let's see here. Hold on. We have a viewer from Alberta, offer to be interviewed. Well, maybe if we cover that story more. Thanks to the viewer for writing in. Let's see here. Crazy Yoda sent me an unconfirmed report from the web. Yeah, I've seen several reports online, some from accounts I follow, that claim that there's still more resources going to the Middle East. One of them was, what was it here? Elint News, who I follow, they reposted somebody else, Armchair Admiral, who claimed that C-17 planes were going to the Middle East, and Elint News thinks that these planes are likely carrying air defense equipment. There was something, I've been reading a couple articles lately, if I have it right, saying that something like that cargo planes, enough cargo planes haven't gotten there yet, as you would expect if there was going to be a U.S. strike. See if I can find one of them here real quick. I want to show you what Tom Homan had to say, though. We haven't even gotten to that. He gave a whole he talked this morning, gave a little press conference. We, of course, have to talk about that. Where is the article I was looking at yesterday? Give me a moment here. Give me a moment here. Yes, so yesterday The Economist said there have been few public signs of a surge in cargo plane flights that would accompany new deployments of Patriot and THAAD batteries, which might be used to shoot down Iranian missiles. Okay? But, as I told you, I just mentioned there was one unconfirmed report that perhaps today some of those are, I think that was about today, perhaps planes have been spotted, cargo planes going to the Middle East, which could be carrying that kind of thing. The Economist also said yesterday there has been a surge of refueling tankers arriving at the Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar. There has been a sharp increase in activity by American surveillance aircraft. So, again, we'll have to see what happens with this. Evelyn in Maine says more on the way. Yeah, so I don't know, perhaps President Trump is planning on doing something and doesn't have the equipment there yet. Oh, and then Elint News mentioned something from Amakai Stein. Can I find this here? Where is this here? Hang on, I'm translating this so I can read it here. This is from, oops. One moment, please. One moment, please. I-24 News, Amakai Stein reported in a few days, and he reported this, actually he reported it several days ago. Several days ago, on the 25th, he reported in a few days enough American forces will arrive to enable significant action. So it's possible that maybe the U.S. is still bringing forces to the region that it feels like it needs to have there. All right. Hang on one moment here. Appreciate everybody being here for the stream. I think we may need to show you what Tom Homan said. Thanks to B24Riz for your support, who says King Trump 2028. All right. I also don't know, has Trump posted, really quick, let me check a couple things. Bitcoin had gone down a bunch today. Right now, Bitcoin is below 84,000. Bitcoin is below 84,000. It is at roughly 83,750. So Bitcoin has gone down a bunch today. Don't know if I have anything on that for you. I can mention it for 2 seconds. Reuters says leading cryptocurrency Bitcoin fell around 6% today so far when it wrote that, as riskier assets, including stocks, sold off. Mammy Washington says, buy that dip, boys. All right, should we, we haven't even looked at what Tom Homan said today. And we're supposed to be updating you. Oh, I was going to do this. Latest updates on Minneapolis, Fulton County, and more. How about we look at that? Why don't we look at what Tom Homan said? I mean, that was a big story, and it was early in the morning. And oh, hold on a second. Hold on. I have an update here. Wall Street Journal reports that Tulsi Gabbard is leading an administration-wide effort to probe the 2020 election for fraud and is regularly briefing Trump and top White House officials on her progress. So Tulsi Gabbard appeared in Fulton County, Georgia yesterday at the elections office in Fulton County, which caused some confusion. Why is the director of national intelligence there? As the Washington Post put it, the presence of Gabbard, a senior U.S. intelligence official, at the site is unusual. The Office of Director of National Intelligence, which she leads, has no law enforcement powers and was created to focus on foreign threats, not domestic matters. But today, I just saw it right now, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that Tulsi Gabbard is hunting for 2020 election fraud. Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, has spent months investigating the results of the 2020 election that Trump lost, according to the Wall Street Journal, a role that took her to a related FBI search of an election center in Georgia yesterday. Wow. Hang on one moment here. 1 second here. I'm almost all better, but I still have a bit of a runny nose. Gabbard is leading the Trump administration's effort to re-examine the election and look for potential crimes, a priority for the president, according to the Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal also says the National Intelligence Director, which she is is usually focused on ensuring the president has the best intelligence available to make national security decisions. Gabbard has been sidelined from some of those deliberations. Wow. Pezzi says they found Tulsi something to do. Interesting. Wall Street Journal reports that Gabbard has begun studying information about voting machines, analyzed data from swing states, and pursued theories President Trump has promoted to claim the 2020 election was unfairly taken from him. For what it's worth, the Wall Street Journal does say that cybersecurity specialists, elections experts, and many former top security officials who worked for Trump have maintained for years that there was no evidence of widespread tampering or fraud in the 2020 election. Gabbard flew down to Georgia yesterday for the FBI raid and was part of the effort. She was photographed there, as we showed you earlier. Okay, anyways, that's some new reporting, shedding some potential light on why Tulsi Gabbard was at the FBI raid at Fulton County yesterday. Okay. Pretty Boy Floyd says, Gabby studying the voting machines. West Coast says, obviously voting is a national security issue. Bamboozalicious says it would only make sense she was there if there was suspicion of foreign interference. All right, so I mentioned that. Let me also quickly say, but again, that is the Wall Street Journal reporting on why Tulsi Gabbard was there. They say she has for months led an effort to probe the 2020 election for fraud and regularly has been briefing Trump, even though she's the director of national intelligence, which normally wouldn't do that kind of thing. That's from the Wall Street Journal. Julie Shields says this is exactly why she got the job. All right. Hey, let's do this real quick. I want to say, a quick thank you to Ekarian B on Twitch for subscribing. Thank you. Mumed2 for subscribing on Twitch. And all of our Twitch subscribers, people like Sevenus, Douthis, Wall Street Shaggy, The Master, just to name a few, Bogan, Great Pyre, Gina Pina, Moose Dog, E-Biker, Sharkingly. Thank you for subscribing. And also, real quick, I want to just to take a second and shout out a couple of our members. Punch Gut, Matthew Felty, Rary Patton, Cogito, Sign of the Times, Mamie Washington, Storm Laughter. These are some of our YouTube members. Thank you. K-Teb, Pietro Spaghetti, Donna Pael, Brandy, Matthew Felty, Storm Laughter, Lisa J, Chris N, all of our other YouTube members. Thank you. Why don't we let's look at what Tom Homan said this morning. Tom Homan, who President Trump has sent to Minneapolis to seemingly take control of the immigration enforcement activity there. He gave a press conference today, and I want to show you what he had to say. You may not have seen it. It was early this morning. You can see Trump's border czar says cooperation with local leaders can lead to ICE drawdown. So let's take a look. By the way, our viewer Quere Verum on X says, what did Quere said? If I can pull it up here. I was trying to all the Tulsi blank is a smokescreen. Republicans told Trump they recounted in Georgia. The governor and secretary of state and more told Trump on the record and recorded. All right, hold on. Here is Tom Homan. Let's look at what Tom Homan had to say. This was earlier today. Here, I have it. I believe this was in Minneapolis. I'll double check, but I think it was. Oh, hold on. I got to do it. Give me 1 second. Let me just check here. Yes, Minneapolis. Okay, here it is. Let's look at what Tom Homan had to say today.
Good morning. Too early, isn't it?
That was 7 a.m. local time.
I've been given talking points, and I don't like reading speeches, never have. But my chief of staff did put some stuff down here in writing just to make sure I don't miss anything. So I'm going to be reading a little bit, and then we're going to open up for questions. I've been on the ground less than 3 full days. I got in here Monday. President of the United States called me Monday morning and asked me to deploy here. Got here Monday evening, and I'm staying till the problem's gone. But we've made a lot of progress in the last 3 days. Marcos Charles, he's running ICE operations here. There you go. Rodney Scott, Commissioner of Customs and Border Protection, standing here beside me. Good morning, I'm Tom Homan, Border Czar for President Trump. I'm here on behalf of the President, along with U.S. Commissioner of U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Rodney Scott, and Marcos Charles, who's leading the enforcement effort here right now. I've been on the ground since Monday to regain law and order in the city beloved by many, and work together to remove threats from the community. During the past administration, well, I'll remember, more than 10 million illegal aliens entered this nation.
Really quick, let me just try. You know, the volume is low on the source. I think I can boost it. I'm boosting it a lot. I think I can boost it even more. If you give me a quick second here, let me just see if I can boost it even a bit more. It's really low on the source. I got it boosted way up, but let's see if I can increase it. Hang on. Where is the thing here?
Security threats, public safety threats. We can't remember we're 2 million known gotaways. 2 million people who paid more to get away. Why? That should scare the hell out of everybody. President Trump promised American people, including the residents of Minnesota, that he would work to ensure our communities are safe. And with that, this administration is absolutely focused on identifying removal aliens that pose a public safety threat and national security threats. And the numbers prove it. The data proves it. In the past few days, I've met with Governor Walz, Attorney General Ellison, Mayor Fry, numerous police chiefs and sheriffs, and I have more to meet. I'll also be continuing the dialogue with business and religious leaders in partnership with Minnesota, your community leaders. I'll be meeting with them too because I want to hear what they have to say. In my meetings with folks so far, and most importantly the governor and the AG, the Mayor Fry, we didn't agree on everything. I didn't expect to agree on anything. I've heard many people want to know why we're talking to people who they don't consider friends in administration. Bottom line is you can't fix problems if you don't have discussions. I didn't come to Minnesota for photo ops or headlines. You haven't seen me. I came here to seek solutions, and that's what we're going to do. And we've come a long way, and we got some good wins for the people of Minnesota, I think, and for the administration and for the safety and security of this city. One thing we did agree on, though, everybody I talked to agreed on, was that community safety is paramount. One thing we all agreed on was U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement is a legitimate law enforcement agency that has a duty to enforce the laws enacted by Congress and keep this community safe. Like I've said many times for the last several years, even before this administration, jurisdictions that refuse to cooperate with federal immigration authorities are sanctuaries for criminals. Sanctuary cities are sanctuaries for criminals and endangers the residents of the community. To be clear, we did not agree with Minnesota state and local officials that they would be involved in immigration enforcement. I didn't ask them to be immigration officers. I'm asking them to be cops working with the cops to help us take criminal aliens off the street. What we did agree upon is not to release public safety arrests back in the community, and they could be lawfully transferred to ICE. I'll speak more about that.
Hey, guys.
I will highlight that the Minnesota State
I
Prison
think
System
I have a
under the
better
Department of
audio
Corrections.
version of this. I think I have a better audio version of this. Hold on a moment. Hold on. I have a different audio version that I can get the audio better. So give me 1 second. I know the audio was really low on that. I think I found another one I can use. I apologize. Give me about 10 seconds and I'll put it up there for you. I could hear that, but I couldn't hear it very well. So here, I think this will be better. Hold on. There it is. I can see it on the screen. There he is. You'll see it in a second. There he is. Now, I may have to boost this a bunch.
For us to identify those people and remove them. I'm also pleased to announce I had a very good meeting with Attorney General Ellison, and he has clarified for me that county jails may notify ICE of the release dates of criminal public safety arrests so ICE can take custody of them upon the release from the jail. And let me tell you why that's important. I know people are a lot concerned about the manpower has been sent in law enforcement manpower. Look, I've said this many times before. I've said it for the last several years. Give us access to the illegal alien public safety threat and the safety and security of a jail. It's common sense. It's safer for the community, it's safer for the agent, and it's safer for the alien. Because anything can happen on a street arrest. It just makes common sense. And for the people that argue, well, we're a welcoming community because we want victims and witnesses of crime that are here illegally to feel safe to come to police without fear they're working with ICE, we're not going to talk to the victim and witness of crime. There's no problem there. They should feel safe to come to police and ask for help. All we want is to talk to the person, that local and state law enforcement authorities locked in a jail cell. They chose to lock this person up. That's who we want to talk to, the public safety threat. So that argument is that protects victim witnesses of crime. It's a bunch of crap. Victims and witnesses of crime don't want the bad guy back in their neighborhood either. So great progress with the Attorney General and local sheriffs. And one thing, when we have these agreements, it takes less law enforcement agents to do the job. One agent can arrest one bad guy in the safety and security of a jail where he's behind the wire. We know we don't have weapons. But when you normally release that public safety threat, illegal alien back in the community, we have a job to do. We're going to arrest him. So we're going to find him. And what happens is now we got to arrest somebody on his turf. We have access to who knows what weapons. Now we got to send the whole team out. Cover the back door, cover the front door, officer safety reasons. Then because of the hateful rhetoric and the attacks on ICE officers, now we got to send a security team behind the arrest team. So what could have been done with one person in safety and security jail, now we got 15, 16 people out there doing it. I know that causes stress in the community. So if we get these agreements in place, that means less agents on the street. More agents in the jail means less agents in the street. This is common sense cooperation that allows us to draw down on the number of people we have here. Yes, I said it. Draw down the number of people here. Because we have the efficiency and safety of the jails and the prison. Matter of fact, I have staff from CBP and from ICE working on a draw-down plan. What does that look like based on the cooperation? What does that look like based on how many targets we have left to find? In my meetings with Governor Walz, A.G. Ellison, and Mayor Fry, as well as state and local law enforcement, again, I appreciate they all acknowledge that we do have federal immigration laws in this country that have been passed by Congress, and that ICE is in fact a legitimate law enforcement agency charged with enforcing those laws. We're not making this up, folks. ICE is enforcing laws enacted by Congress. They're a federal statute. That said, I'm not here because the federal government has carried this mission out perfectly. First thing I said to senior staff when I walked in here is what I told you earlier. I didn't come here looking for photo ops or headlines. I come here looking for solutions. I do not want to hear that everything's been done here has been perfect. Nothing's ever perfect. Anything can be improved on. And what we've been working on is making this operation safer, more efficient, by the book. The mission is going to improve because of the changes we're making internally. No agency or organization is perfect. President Trump and I, along with others in the administration, have recognized that certain improvements could and should be made. That's exactly what I'm doing here. As such, in meetings I've had with federal law enforcement managers, including ICE and CBP and other federal partners, as well as state and local officials, I have conveyed the President's expectations with regard to federal immigration enforcement efforts. We will conduct targeted enforcement operations. Targeted. What we've done for decades. When we hit the streets, we know exactly who we're looking for. Good idea where we may find them. You have a criminal history. You have their immigration history. A lot of information about this person that we get from numerous databases out there. Targeted, strategic enforcement operations. That's traditionally been the case, and that's where we're going. That's what we're going to continue to do and improve upon that. With a prioritization on public safety threats. I want to be clear. I don't read a lot of social media. I don't read a lot of media. I don't believe half what I see. We are not surrendering the president's mission in immigration enforcement. Let's make that clear. Prioritization of criminal aliens doesn't mean that we forget about everybody else. That's just simply ridiculous. But when you have a criminal standing here and a non-criminal standing there, that criminal always should be targeted first because he's a significant concern to the safety and security of the community. By at large for decades, ICE and CBP have carried out their duties with integrity, professionalism, and compassion. That remains the expectation under President Trump, and I will, hold our agents and officers to that standard. I'm almost done, then Tom can be Tom. As far as the agitators, that said, I want to reiterate and make very clear I want to make it clear, ICE and CBP officers are performing their duties in a challenging environment under tremendous circumstances, but they're trying to do it with professionalism. If they don't, they'll be dealt with. Like any other federal agency, we have standards of conduct. They are sworn law enforcement officers working tirelessly to enforce our country's border security and immigration laws, protecting the interests of our country and preventing dangerous people from walking the streets of this nation when they're not supposed to be here to begin with. Men and women of ICE, I was a Border Patrol agent. I was an ICE agent. I was the first ICE director that came up through the ranks. I spent over 40 years doing this. These men and women that carry that badge and gun are American patriots. They put themselves on the line for this nation every day. But I want you to remember, they don't hang their badge, they don't hang their heart on a hook every day they come to work. They're mothers and fathers too. They're sons and daughters too. And if they've seen a fraction of the tragedies I've seen in my career, they take a lot of damage home to every day. The things they've seen, especially on the border with Border Patrol agents. People drowning in the river. Women being raped by criminal cartels. Giving CPR to a baby that was thrown in the river by the cartels because Border Patrol came too close. So let's throw the baby in the river. That way the Border Patrol was concentrating on that so I can get away. These men and women see some terrible things. But I want you to remember, they're mothers and fathers too. Many of them are members of this community. God bless every one of them. The hostile rhetoric and dangerous threats and hate must stop. And we all agreed to that. All everybody met here today, we got to stop the rhetoric, the hateful rhetoric that has caused an increase in assaults. That has caused, because of that, have to send security teams out with arrest teams, which surge the city with additional resources because of the rhetoric, because of the threats, because of the assaults. Again, with the agreements we've achieved and following through the agreements, with the rhetoric dropping down, that allows us to pull more agents out once we feel the environment's safer. I begged for the last 2 months on TV for the rhetoric to stop. I said in March, if the rhetoric didn't stop, there's going to be bloodshed. And there has been. I wish I wasn't right. I don't want to see anybody die. Not officers, not members of the community, and not the targets of our operations. For the people out there who don't like what ICE is doing, if you want certain laws reformed, then take it up with Congress. Again, ICE is making this up. They're enforcing laws enacted by Congress and signed by the President. The same laws have been on the books for the last 6 presidents I worked for. I started with President Reagan and ending with President Trump. Every administration, we enforce the same laws. If you don't like what ICE is doing, instead of protesting this building, go protest Congress. Tell me you want changes. You have your First Amendment rights, I support that. You have the right to protest. I'm just asking you to keep it peaceful. But threatening law enforcement officers, engaging in impeding and obstruction and assault is never okay. And there will be zero tolerance you interfere, impede, assault ICE officers, you will be arrested. Like I said a bit earlier in my meetings with Governor Walton Ellison and Frey, as well as state and local law enforcement, I appreciate they acknowledge this, that public safety should be paramount. The chiefs I've talked to committed to responding to 911 calls when protesters turn violent, agents are in a dangerous situation, and there's assaults. They have committed to upholding public safety and responding to the needs, not to enforce immigration law, but to keep the peace. With that, I call upon those officials to stand shoulder to shoulder with us to tone down the dangerous rhetoric and condemn all unlawful action against law enforcement in the community. There are many ways your voice can be heard, express your feelings, and affect change in the country without crossing that line. Political and other disagreements in this realm should not be at the expense of public safety or the safety of federal law enforcement officers. In closing, I want to thank the state and local officials here in Minnesota that I met with and the many I'm going to meet with. We've had meaningful dialogue. And look, again, we didn't agree on everything, but we agreed on the things I just talked about. There's much more we can do. And I'm going to continue those dialogues. I got many more community leaders to talk to. I got many more sheriffs to meet. President Trump wants this fixed, and I'm going to fix it with your help. I want to thank President Trump for his unwavering commitment to public safety and prosperity of every American. Under the President's leadership, we have the most secure border in the history of this nation, which means less women are being raped, less children are dying crossing that border, less fentanyl is getting in this country to kill Americans, less known suspected terrorists are crossing that country. And we don't have 2 million unknown gotaways. We don't know who the hell they are. A secure border means we have stronger national security. A secure border saves lives. When 96% less people come in, how many women aren't being sexually assaulted by members of the cartel? How many people aren't dying making that journey? How many Americans aren't dying of fentanyl overdoses? How many women and children aren't being sex trafficked in this nation? The data proves it. Anybody can find that data. So God bless this great nation. God bless Minnesota. We can do better. And I thank your local and state leaders meeting with me. We made some significant gains, significant coordination and cooperation, and you're going to see some massive changes occurring here in this city. Thank you.
Mr. Rules of Engagement on. Right here. Thank you so much. Mr. Holman, Giovanna Delorto with the Associated Press. Based on how you have described these changes in the mission, can you be more specific about the objectives of Operation Metro Surge? If what you have described changes the parameters for interior enforcement only in Minnesota or also in Maine and other places? And finally, when will you consider that those objectives will be achieved and this operation will end? Or is it in terms of agents on the ground, in terms of who you're targeting for arrests?
The withdrawal of law enforcement resources here is dependent upon cooperation. Like I said, one agent arresting one bad guy in jail means less agents on the street. We have some agreements. We got more to talk about how we're going to implement those agreements. But as we see that cooperation happen, then the redeployment will happen. Look, target enforcement operations should happen across the nation. That's what we've done for decades. And with target enforcement operations, I've done many of them. It just makes it safer for everybody. When we know exactly what we're looking for, what is his criminal history, what is his immigration history, where's he live, is he in an apartment complex versus a house, has he got a known record for having weapons, it's safer for everybody. Then we know what type of resources we need to go. And it just makes this operation cleaner, more efficient, and it's proven less violence when we know exactly what we're getting into and we can take the necessary precautions to keep everybody safe. Some of the operations that I've been involved in, we know there's children in the house based on surveillance. So we know you got to be a little bit different when you go into that house because there's going to be children present. So target enforcement operations, the way we've always done it, I think we got away from a little bit. And we're going to make sure we do target enforcement operations. And look, and I will say it again, you know, we are not surrendering our mission at all. We're just doing it smarter.
Shimon Prokopez from CNN. Mr. Holman, how did we get here in terms of you had Greg Bovino, who was the face of this immigration operation, the mission, as you say, to having border patrol agents in the interior of this country, stopping U.S. citizens, asking them for ID, creating this fear in places like Chicago and now here. And then finally, it took really the death of Alex Petty for us to get here. How did that happen? Who made the decisions to allow this kind of operation to proceed in this way and to create such fear?
Well, look, the Border Patrol, the last 4 years under Joe Biden, we had an open border where 10, 12,000 people a day are coming across the border. Border Patrol got overwhelmed, which means we sent thousands of ICE agents down there to help deal with that humanitarian crisis, to help secure the border. Now we have millions of people released in this nation, many unvetted. Now we got to find them. Before the big, beautiful bill, we had a total just under 5,000 deportation officers to look for millions of people, many in public safety threats. So yes, we needed Border Patrol to come and help on our mission now. And reason for the massive deployment is because of the threats, because of the violence. Our officers need to be protected. If I'm on an operation, an arrest team, I'm going to a house, I got to be busy with that guy, the dangerous guy, and I can't keep looking over my shoulder at what's happening outside the house. So we brought extra resources in to provide that security. And as I said, as we drill down on these great agreements we got and this great understanding we have means less. So we can draw down those resources. When the violence decreases, we can draw down those resources. But based on the discussions I've had with the governor and the AG, we can start drawing down those resources as far as those looking for public safety threats being released and do it in the jail with much less people. So the drawdown is going to happen based on these agreements. But the drawdown can happen even more if the hateful rhetoric and the impediment and interference will stop. So Border Patrol, I was a Border Patrol agent. These men and women are patriots. God bless them. They're here to help us. And the drawdown will come soon, depending on when this actually, I see this in play. But the agreements to have alone is going to cause a significant drawdown. So you're going to see a drawdown.
Just on a personal, you've been doing this for 40 years. Just a follow-up.
Ben, go ahead.
First off, Ben Burkbaum, Real America's Voice News. On behalf of the American people, I just want to say thank you to you and to all of the agents that are putting their lives on the line to go after the people that were allowed in the last administration. We watched that happen in the media, the honest media, covered up by many of the media that are behind me. We want to say thank you, and to all the men and women that are out there. Can you talk to us about what's being done with the leadership on these signal chats, on these WhatsApp chats that are organizing the attacks against you, the obstruction against you? Are we going to be arresting those individuals as well? And to the folks out there in America that voted for this, that want mass deportations because they saw a mass invasion under Joe Biden, what would you say to them? How are we going to get to that point?
Well, first of all, about the organization and the funding of the attacks on ICE. I'm not going to answer a lot about that because I'm not going to show our hand, but they'll be held accountable. Justice is coming. Again, we got to remember why.
Give me 1 second here. Hang on 1 second. What is this? What is this here? Hold on.
While working with the Kings County District Attorney's Office, Mr. Solhall has been charged with attempted assault 1 and 2 as a hate crime, reckless endangerment 2 as a hate crime.
I saw the NYPD was speaking, and I thought they might be speaking about the case that got reported today, where reportedly a man impersonated an FBI officer and went to try to get Luigi Mangione out of jail. and he's been charged with impersonating a law enforcement officer. And I thought NYPD might be speaking on that right now, but they were speaking on something else. So let me just play this. We're listening to Tom Homan answer questions from this morning. He's almost done answering questions. So I'll play that again. I just wanted to jump in and see if I thought they might be talking about that, but it wasn't that. So I'm going to hit play again on this.
The questions we've seen and why we're here. What started this? 4 years of an open border where millions of people are in this country unvetted. Remember, let's not forget, for 4 years we were told the border was secure. 4 years we were told the border was secure. And we all knew it wasn't. And I want this to be a positive thing we're doing here today. I also want to remember the politicians are continually attacking us. Where were they the last 4 years when the number of women and children sex trafficking went all-time high? Where were they when 250,000 Americans died from fentanyl coming across the border? Where were they when women and children are dying making that journey? Where were they when over 4,000 aliens making that journey died, historic record? Where were they? Not a word. Now we're just trying to respond to what happened the last 4 years and keeping this country safe. And we're arresting a lot of public safety threats, take them off the streets, which makes this country safer. President Trump promised to make this country safe again, and that's what we're doing. But my 2.5 days up here, we made a lot of progress. I think everybody agrees on the criminal and public safety threats. They agree it's much safer and easier to arrest an alien in a facility than send a whole team out in the field that's going to draw anger, because now we got to send a bunch of people to do something that could have been done by 1 or 2 people. And I've said this for years. I have no ill will to anybody in Minnesota. All the people I talk to, we're never going to agree on everything. We have different philosophies and different opinions on immigration, but we all agree this is a way to go to reduce safety, reduce crime, reduce crime and increase safety for our operations. More people in the jail means less people on the street. It's simple math.
Sir, Lana Zach, CBS News. Everybody I've spoken with agrees that if somebody has a violent criminal history and is a fugitive, they don't want them as their neighbor. But when you're talking about a targeted operation, and are you talking about targeting people whose crime is coming to this country, or is it a more specific definition now?
All operations will be targeted, but the prioritization are going to be criminal aliens, public safety threats, and national security threats. I've met with Marcos and his staff. We got a lot of them. We got a lot of them to keep us busy. So that would be our focus.
So that is enough that's what, there is not going to be a focus on people who have no other crimes except for their status.
If you're in the country illegally, you're never off the table. But prioritization doesn't mean you forget about everybody. So let me say this. If the message we send is you can enter this country illegally, it's a crime, don't worry about it. You can have your due process, show up in court, not show up in court, get ordered to move, don't worry about it. Unless you commit a serious crime, you're good to go. If that's the message we send to the world, you're never going to fix this problem. The most vulnerable people in the world will make that dangerous journey like they did under the Joe Biden administration. Over 4,000 aliens died making that journey. And again, a significant increase in sex trafficking. Because when they did that and opened those borders up saying, we're not going to detain you, we're going to give you free health care, we're going to fly you to the city of your choice, put you in a free hotel room, give you 3 meals a day, and give you work authorization, we're just going to bring you in. And when they did that, they sent a message to the whole world, you can come and do this. And what happened? They overwhelmed the men and women of the Border Patrol, where many days 70% of agents were pulled off that line. 70%. You don't think the criminal cartels had a field day with that? They created gaps for the cartels do their activity. And that's why you've seen the rise in fentanyl overdose. That's why you saw the rise in sex trafficking. The 2 million plus known gotaways, why did they pay more to get away? Why didn't they pay less, turn yourself in, get released within 24 hours? You get a free airline ticket to the city of your choice. We're going to give you a free hotel room, and we'll give you free food and free medical care. And you're going to get work authorization in 6 months. Why did 2 million people choose to pay more not to take advantage of that giveaway program? They didn't want to be vetted. They didn't want to be fingerprinted. That scares the hell out of me, and it does still. The Trump administration with ICE and Secretary Noem and Marco Rubio and the intelligence community, Tulsi Gabbard, we're all working together to try to identify who these people are, and we've already found many of them. But it's hard work to do. But there are national security threats walking this nation because of the last administration, and they are one of our main priorities too.
Thank you. Can you please be specific about how many ICE and how many Border Patrol agents are currently operating in the state?
I think we're near 3,000. There's been some rotations. Another thing I witnessed when I came here, I'll share this with you. I met with a lot of people, a lot of the agents. They've been in theater. Some of these people have been in theater for 8 months. So there's going to be rotations of personnel. Hopefully less now that we have some agreements. Maybe we can make it more efficient and safe. But they've been in theater a long time, and so there's rotations happen all the time to get people out of here and go home, get some rest, and see their families. Day after day, you can't eat in restaurants. Day after day, having people spit on you and blow whistles at you. Day after day, having all these threats at you. Day after day, having people trying to interfere with you. Day after day, they're human. So, we've got to rotate these people, and we've already rotated some. But my main focus now is drawdown based upon the great conversations I've had with your state and local leaders. Again, I'm not a fool. I'm not walking away without seeing this put in place. But I take the word of the people I met with. I think they're honest, and I think they're good brokers, that they want public safety protected, and they also want what's happening in the city to go away. And that's my goal.
Last question in the back.
Mueller Newsmax. The new video of Alex Preddy is now circulating. Your reaction to that, and do you think law enforcement could have played a role if, like, let's say, Minneapolis police were able to respond to that? Have those top law enforcement officials said they'll help or do anything to help these agents who are out here?
I'm not going to comment on any of these shootings. I said from day one, I said on any of these shootings, as a career law enforcement officer, we'll let the investigation roll out, let the investigation play out, and let it go where it goes. I'm not going to come out and make any comments that I think is right, wrong. Do I have an opinion? Yeah, my personal opinion, but I'm not going to share that with you. I'm going to tell you, let the investigation play out and see where it goes. But again, the president, one of the words he said to me when I came up here, he said he didn't want to see anybody die. The less interference, the less rhetoric, the less, I have buried Border Patrol agents and I buried ICE agents throughout my career, and the saddest thing I've ever done is hand a folded flag to a wife or a child. I don't want to see anybody die, even the people we're looking for. I don't want to see anybody die. And despite what people think of Tom Homan, I say a prayer every night that everybody goes home safe. This isn't good. But I think my conversations the last 2.5 days are leading us to a safer community, letting ICE officers operate in the safety and security of a jail more than on the street. I think anybody here with common sense would say it's safer to arrest a public safety threat in the safety and security of a jail. And let me tell you, what is that going to result in? Less collateral arrests. When we go find that bad guy, when we find that bad guy, many times it's with others. Well, guess what? They're in the country illegally. We're going to enforce immigration law. They're coming too. You want less collateral arrest? Less in the jail. But we're going to enforce immigration law. For the people that say we're here to surrender our authority and the mission of enforcing immigration law, you are wrong. We're going to do target enforcement operations, and we're going to prioritize the public safety threats and national security threats. That is what we're here to do.
Sir, no more questions. Go ahead. No more questions, guys. Thank you.
That was Tom Homan this morning. I'm sorry, the microphones seem to be having an issue on both my feeds. I think the microphone there was just kind of messed up. So I boosted it as much as I could. But he was talking about saying that he wants things to get better there. He said, we haven't been perfect. He said that they can withdraw border agents, immigration agents, once they get more cooperation from people there. He was saying repeatedly, like, when local people are getting in our way and, trying to obstruct us, it requires more agents to do these things. So if local people will cooperate more and not oppose us, we can pull more agents out. That's what he seemed to be saying a bunch of times. And, he also said that repeatedly there's going to be targeted operations, but it wasn't. He didn't commit to, like, saying specifically if that means are they, exactly who they're going for. He didn't say, like, well, we're not going after people who simply. I don't think he said, if I heard it right, he didn't commit to saying we're not going after people who are just here illegally. So he did talk about trying to make things better. He said he's had really good conversations with local leaders, right? So, there seems to be a general focus on kind of making the situation better and making it better for local people. We'll have to see what changes, though. Our viewer Chaz Martin thinks the situation in Minnesota will be a bit better and thinks Tom is good at this. Let's see. Pendergasted said it's almost like there's a way to go about letting ICE do their work without posting inflammatory posts on True Social, first attacking blue states. That's what Pendergasted said. So we'll have to see how things develop in, he talked about wanting to make things better. But we'll have to see how things play out in Minneapolis. Harvey says, make it better by due process. Did he mention that? Rita thinks he seems to be bringing down the rhetoric and keeping it more about the law versus being vindictive to people that you feel like are stealing from you and your community. Ellen says, I think Tom is competent. By the way, a number of people have been messaging in. Evelyn in Maine says he is calmer, 100%. Yeah, so a number of people have been messaging me about this Trump announcement. I think the Trump announcement at 4:30 is about Carolyn Leavitt, the press secretary, posted about it, I believe, a couple hours ago. And she said here, I'm going to read you what she said. Today at 4 p.m. at the White House, Trump to sign order launching new initiative to address drug addiction. Often the White House will have it on the schedule that Trump is making an announcement. That happens regularly. And they don't say what it is. And quite regularly, it turns out not to be like a huge announcement. Like people think, oh, he's making an announcement. It doesn't say what it is. He's declaring war or something. Carolyn Leavitt said today at 4 p.m. at the White House, Trump to sign order launching new initiative to address drug addiction. And she linked to a story by CBS News that says Trump will sign an executive order Thursday afternoon to coordinate a federal government response to drug addiction and substance abuse. According to a White House fact sheet, the order will create a White House Great American Recovery Initiative, which will advise federal agencies on directing grants to support addiction recovery and aim to increase awareness about drug addiction. So, that's what I think the announcement is. I don't think he's announcing war on Iran. Okay? That's my understanding of what's going to happen. Hang on a moment here. AZ Intel said News Nation is reporting the same thing about the drug, about the signing at 4:30. I haven't seen the News Nation report myself, but that's what AZ Intel said. One of our viewers said, new Just Say No ads. So here's what I think I'm going to do. So I am, oh, by the way, thanks to Jenna T, and Gary for your support, and Jennifer Taylor and Gary Baines, and B24Riz. So here's what I think I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. So I am right now in... I am in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and I'm still broadcasting live from here covering news. But there was something I was going to go do, an event I was going to attend, like in about 45 minutes, if I could, if the news permitted. So I think given that I'm not aware of anything like super huge going on right this second, I'm going to try to sneak out of here and get to that. But if something big happens tonight, I can certainly come on the air and cover it. I'm available. I'm around. If something big happens while I'm at the event, I can come back and get on the air. But I think right now, I think it's, we've talked about Fulton County a bunch in Minneapolis, and we talked about some other stories. But I think for right now, I'm going to try to go do that. So I appreciate your understanding. And again, I'll certainly keep an eye out for what's going on. If there's big news tonight, I can come on and cover it for you. Okay. So let me try to get that. But I really appreciate everybody joining the stream today. And somebody said IRL stream. I actually did a stream last night from here on my personal channel. My personal channel is called Lookner on YouTube and Look Nerd with a D on Twitch. And I sometimes will do some personal streams when I travel. So you can go over there and maybe follow, like, or subscribe or follow over there if you want to check out those streams. And again, if there's huge news, I'll just come back on the air and cover it. So I appreciate your understanding, and we'll have more news coming up for you. But really appreciate you guys being here for the stream. A lot of people in the sending me updates and commenting on the chat. We got to take a bunch of comments today, so appreciate people writing in their comments and sending me their comments. And more news to come. More news to come. Subscribe. Follow the channel, Agenda Free TV. We cover all kinds of live breaking news without an agenda. I will be posting updates also on my X account, which is @Lookner on X. You can follow me over there. Oops, not there. You can follow me right there, @Lookner on X. Oh my gosh, everything's messed up. @Lookner on X. And I would also suggest that you turn on the notifications for the channel. We have our own notification system. It's free. It works really good. So if I come on the air to cover some urgent news, which I didn't know about in advance, which often happens, that way you can get notified, get to send a message to you, and you don't miss the stream. So sign up for our free notifications. The mods will post a link to that in the chat, and you can also find that link on YouTube and Facebook in the description of this broadcast. Huge thanks also to our moderators. They are fantastic. They have been there today, as they usually are, making sure things in the chat are kept under control, respectful. Danny James, BZ over there on YouTube, thank you so much. Ruth, thank you. Beth Mythical, Roberts, May Queen, and all of our other YouTube moderators. Did I say Janet B? Huge thanks to you on Twitch, our moderators over there. Big thanks. Big Ball of Yarn, I Got That Fire, Matthew Kohai 3, Mick Britches, Sarah and Surly Dev, and all of our other Twitch mods. Linda Belk, Larry, and Misha moderate for us over there on X, and our Facebook mods. We've had Paul Anderson, Kay Lowry Body, Margaret Riley, and all of our other moderators. Thanks so much to our mods for allowing us to have chat rooms. We couldn't do it without our mods. Also over there on, what was I going to mention? Another good way to find out when we're live, if you're on X, follow us on X. We couldn't do it without our mods. Oops, now I'm hearing two of me for the moment, and that'll stop in a second. Also, there we go. At Agenda Free TV on X. That's a great way to find out when we're going live. I always post there before we go live. I post updates about the channel there. At Agenda Free TV on X. And also, we do have a chat. You can chat with other viewers chat with other viewers for free when we're not on the air in our Discord chat room, the Agenda Free TV Discord. Check it out. It's the same link as the free notifications link. So check out the Discord chat if you'd like. And also big thanks to our Discord mods who help us out on Discord. Really appreciate it. And for those of you who watch on YouTube, I would suggest turn on the YouTube notifications so you get those notifications, which can also help you find out when we're live. The YouTube notifications, what you need to do to turn those on is you need to subscribe to the channel, and then you click the bell right here, and you choose all notifications. If you're already subscribed, make sure you've clicked the bell and chosen all notifications. And by the way, again, my personal channel, if you want to see any of the travel videos, is called Lookner on YouTube and Look Nerd with a D on Twitch. This is what my channel looks like on YouTube. So if you feel like it, you can go on over there and check that out as well. Okay, also, big thanks to our YouTube members, Veronica W, Dinar, Evelyn and Maine, Gary Baines, CAC, for example, Eric Johnson. Sorry, before I thank, I'm going to thank some more of our members. Again, I just want to thank everybody who donated during the stream. That's really nice of you guys. I think I thanked everybody during the stream. Let me just make sure, though. Cece. I owe Cece a thanks on Twitch. Thanks, Cece. But thanks, everybody else, for your support. Really appreciate that. If you ever want to donate to the channel, you go to agendafree.tv, agendafree.tv, but that is what allows the channel to exist, is your support, so thank you. Also, thanks to our YouTube members for supporting the channel. I just named a few, also people like Evelyn in Maine, Waltham, Mass, Sydney, Dean R., Marcus Plain Spotting Germany, Roger Davis Jr., Taze Vim, O Peeps, Don Video Guy, thanks. Babelicious, Firejack, Paula Faust, Locomi Life, Tace Vim, Michael Avery, Sevenfold, William Cromer, Paula Faust, Beth Chakama, Lisa J, I Am Your Mom, John Flick, Owl Hippie, Daisy Clementine Love, and Lolly Lollipop, Tim H, Firejack, and all of our other Sinful Clam and all of our other YouTube members, Leslie Boslar, thank you. And over there on again, President Trump at 4:30. Just to clarify, I know it says announcement. He's supposed to sign an order launching a new initiative to address drug addiction. That is what it's supposed to be about, just to let you know. Carolyn Levitt posted about it earlier. She said 4 p.m., but that is what I believe it's about. An executive order to coordinate a federal government response to drug addiction and substance abuse. He might answer questions. Again, I'm trying to get to this event in Buenos Aires where I am, so, You could get it at the White House social media, I'm sure. So, you know, if he was announcing war on Iran, I would stay and cover it. But, you know, just in the interest of, I don't even know if it's going to start on time. Maybe it will. But I'm going to try to get to that. Also, thanks so much to, hang on a moment here, our Facebook subscribers. I don't know if there'll be an attack on Iran. We'll certainly be keeping an eye on it. Thanks so much to our subscribers over Facebook, like Christy Claft and Sharon Klassen Goslin, Margaret Riley, Kay Lowry Body, and Barry Eisler, and our other Facebook subscribers, Michael Clayton, and all of our others over there, and our Twitch subscribers. Huge thanks to you. People like, Wall Street and Shaggy, thank you for subscribing over there. Grant P, Mumed, Matthew Kohai 3, Pendergasted, Annie Cush, thanks Annie for subscribing. Toolman Tim, Sarah, Matthew Kohai 3, I think I said Matthew already. Babster, Secret Formula, I Got That Fire, Daddy Dino, Gina Pina, My Crystal Clear Life, thank you. Naomi Rousseau, Sentient Cannabis, Bored Eagle, Billy Joe, Dillig Warren. Thanks for being a subscriber on Twitch. Canadian Tilde End VO. Thanks for subscribing. CC. And all of our other Twitch subscribers. I really appreciate it. All right, I'm wrapping this up. Again, I'll keep an eye out for big news. So I really appreciate you guys being here for the stream. If there's big news tonight, I will come back on the air. That is it for now. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you soon with more live breaking news coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.